Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289C Fan Run Radio.
Tony Basilio and you fired up. Brian Hartman's on assignment. Hey, sweetie, could you grab my coffee from upstairs, please? I'm going to need it today. I looked at myself in the mirror today and I went, go. I don't know if you've ever done that, but you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, do I look like that? And apparently, I look like that. I look like the hat. And the hat's not good. So, in case you're wondering what the hat is that's no good. That no bueno. That no bueno. As they say in Lenoir City. That no bueno. But I'm pretty pumped today. We are stacked, jacked, and packed today. We're excited about tonight. The Vols get kind of a, I don't use a term like last stand. I'll tell you what would be really nice for the baseball team is if they could figure out a way to win that series this weekend and end this regular season with back-to-back wins, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Back-to-back series wins over the two newcomers in the league, ironically enough, Texas and Oklahoma. And, I woke up today with a little giddy up in my step for that. And the kids are graduating today over at UT. And congratulations to all the graduates. Hey, Matt, there used to be a time, as Matt Dixon's here, when we would, celebrate the players that were graduating. I don't even know how many of these guys graduate anymore, Matt. The whole that's what was so weird about Lane Kiffin and the guy at Texas piling on Ole Miss this week for their lax academic standards. But the kids are graduating today, Matt. It's a lot of fun. Kyle Blackburn yesterday failed in the court of public opinion by being a Titans Bill watches more BET than he does. Laura was recounting that today. We were having coffee with our breakfast this morning, and She looked over at me, Matt, and she said, my favorite part of the Titans-Bill Kyle Blackburn exchange is when Kyle told Titans-Bill he hadn't watched BET since they quit playing music videos. That's Black Entertainment Television, for those of you scoring at home, moving right to left across your device. And Bill goes, what about your mom? Does she watch Kings and Queens? And and Kyle just broke, and he started hee-haw. He started laughing. We did like a 20-minute detour into the mind of Titans-Bill yesterday, and it ended with me having to dunk on him and get him off the air. But Gary Sturm, today over at Mortgage Investors, I was talking to him, and he said, Tony, he said, that was some freaking great, unbelievable stuff. So here we are, Matt. I'm very hopeful. I don't know why I feel so hopeful. They're playing a game in a professional stadium, and they're doing it, Matt. We had a guest on, Mason Young, a couple days ago. They're doing this basically because they have all this stuff going on their campus this weekend, right? Isn't that kind of why Oklahoma's doing what they're doing this weekend?
Yeah. And when they decided to do this, Tony Vitello was still at Tennessee, so you could get kind of a draw there in Oklahoma City. They still likely will, and I'm sure there'll be some orange that matriculates in there. But yeah, they have stuff on campus. I think they do this about once a year out there, and I guess it probably usually does coincide with a big weekend on campus, so they can take away traffic and stuff from, because Norman's just basically a college town, so I think it probably does get overwhelmed on some days.
Yeah, and it's also interesting too that they're breaking ground on a multi-use, one of these, that what I call the Danny District. But they're breaking ground on one of them there, but it's going to be a couple miles off their campus, which shows you the kind of setup they have there. But yeah, Mason Young, who joined us. Matt, do you expect that we see Landon Mack this weekend, or is this going to linger on maybe into the tournament, his issue?
I think if they win one, or especially both of the first two games, I think they'd hold him out again, because you really don't have any reason to pitch him. If you were to win one of these first two, I think you could hold him out for a second weekend and then maybe pitch him your first game in Hoover.
Yeah,
that could be a path you take. But if I had to guess, I would say no, that we won't see him. But you probably, I do think if you get one of the first two, that gives you the luxury of not being able to have to throw him at all, which that's probably the plan, unless they just have to. Because as we saw Sunday, if Landon Mack isn't starting one of your games, you're going to be, you need 15 runs to win.
I want both of them. Dr. Z DDS, Tony, I can't believe you wasted so much airtime yesterday. Hey, Dr. Z DDS, you need to go read my blog today. He says the following: I can't believe you wasted so much airtime yesterday in an NIL tweet. The author tweeted, admitted it was subjective figure based on overall marketability. Actually, his figure was right. And actually, Tennessee is one of the big spenders in college football this year. So I don't know what to tell you, man. But I got confirmed before we jumped on the air yesterday that the figure was actually right. So, and I think it's really interesting that we looked at it today, that the odds for the big spenders in the sport, are all way up there in terms of the odds to win it all, with the exception of Tennessee, and there's one other. But here's your thing. I didn't do it. Dr. ZDDS said, I read your blog every day. You've been saying Hypo won't ask for money for players, and now we're spending $37 million. Well, no, my point on Hypo's been this. There's no way you can go into this season with your quarterback situation being what it is. You have to play in the portal. But you can pick what you want to pick. You can do what you want to do. You can say what you want to say. You can make it about me if you want, but it ain't my issue. It happens to not be my issue. So today we did a little follow up on that stuff, and here's where we are. And I was wanting to get into that some today because Matt, this stuff is the finances of all this is both nauseating, but it's also kind of a North Star. But there's going to be outliers in this thing. Like last year, somebody reminded me last year that see the front office sports thing, I do think they're wrong in terms of player to player and how that's going. For instance, I do think their figure 36 million is right. What I'm talking about, Dr. Z, is spending money in the transfer portal. And I will contend to you or anybody listening, watching, viewing, how you're seeing this, what we're doing, that if it weren't for the Jim Knowles hire, Tennessee was going to be pretty content to be kind of on the sidelines with the transfer portal this go around. But they signed him. The thing about the transfer portal is you've got to start tampering with players in September. And I'm going to tell you what I find highly hypocritical is the head coach at Texas, Matt, who came out and gave an interview to Matt Hayes, wherever Matt Hayes is these days, but he's been all over the place. But he made the case, the Texas head coach, Sarkisian, says, well, we have no rules. Everybody's tampering now and blah, 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 blah. Hey, Steve Sarkisian, your payroll's $47 million, dude. You've got 4 of the projected top 10 NFL draft picks via ESPN, as I counted them up with C last night. 4 of the top 10 picks, Matt, and he's belly aching about how there are no rules, and he's worried about how Ole Miss has, quote unquote, basket weaving on his campus, Dixon. I mean, does that make any sense to you that he's out there looking for sympathy?
No, not at all.
I mean,
he's got every resource advantage in the world at Texas.
What's he
with money, facilities, just every he's got literally has everything there. Maybe more than any other program in the country.
I've got a conclusion for Dr. Z DDS.
Why punch down on Ole Miss?
Yeah, exactly.
And Ole Miss just came out pretty good this offseason. You had that.
Yeah.
You had all the the Kiffin stuff which is just incredible that was printed and somebody thought that stuff's real, that he could say that and actually believe it.
Do you think he said it?
You had Dabo,
very
not
good.
Just alleging, but showing evidence of Ole Miss tampering with a player like early in the cycle.
Yes.
And here Ole Miss just comes out of this and they got Trinidad Chambers eligible again. They've got another top 10 team that can make a run at the playoffs again. Very different than the Hugh Freeze era where they just got hammered for everything under the sun because they were Ole Miss.
Well,
and now you've got Texas trying to dunk on them.
So the whole thing about any of this NIL conversation, we've always said, and I say it about all this stuff, until they show us exactly what's what, when people put lists out, you're going to be forced to reckon with them and go, okay, what's real, what's not. I put in print, I didn't think the number was real because there are no stars on the team. And if that number is going to be real, you should have a couple star players on your football team. Now, by the end of the year, Tennessee might have a couple star players. Here's the good news. There's good news and bad news. The bad news is we're probably going to be first-round draft pick less next year, although who knows? Somebody could develop. But right now, of the projected, Texas, with their bitching coach, is sitting there with 4 of the top 10 picks in the draft. I mean, that team that's coming to Knoxville is loaded. And he's whining and moaning because Ole Miss will take anybody. And which leads me to this, today's graduation weekend. When's the last time any of us have heard about academics with these schools? Except for when we're wanting to punch down on Pete Golding and Ole Miss because they did some maneuvering in the offseason, stole a player from Clemson who's asleep, who I'm selling over the next 10 years. Stole a player from, obviously, they've got Texas's attention for some silly reason. I wonder, Matt, if he's afraid of them on the field or something with Trinidad Chambliss. I wonder if Texas is afraid of them. Really strange. It's really odd when you're Texas and you're at the top of the sport. And then you've got Texas head coach talking about breaking away from the NCAA. Dude, you got the tiger by the tail, man. What are you talking about? But let's move along.
Sarkisian needs to focus on coaching his team because they were not very well coached last year at all. Their offensive line was horrible. They just weren't a very well coached team. He needs to focus on that before getting involved in all this off the field stuff.
So C thought that list yesterday. We did a deep dive, me and him, and he helped me out with this. We come up with some good stuff. It's over on the blog today, which is interesting. We take the odds of these 2026 teams that have the top 10 payrolls and put the figures out there. And then how many first round picks do you have, right? Texas, $47.5 million for the top 10 picks in the draft. Those guys are going to cost money. I mean, obviously. And that Coleman kid they got from Auburn is not going to come cheaply. Then you've got Miami, $44 million, 2 first round picks. Miami is spending the moolah. Look, Tennessee is one of 3 teams in the top 10 in payrolls that doesn't have a projected first rounder. A&M is there as well, and so is Texas Tech. Here's where Tennessee's spending their money, though, as I've thought about it. It's the guys this year that are second-year players on campus. A couple of those guys are pricey, I do believe. We talked about it, for instance. They assigned a dollar value, which I don't think is accurate for some players. And I think some they got right. Faison Brandon, I think, is right about a little over $2 million a year. I think that's accurate. And I think Faison Brandon, if you ask me today who's Tennessee's starting quarterback, I think it's Faison Brandon. Now, George McIntyre might greatly improve over the offseason. I'm here to tell you, he better. Or they're going to try a true freshman out there. And again, I'm not going to tell anybody how to do their job. I barely know how to do mine. But if I was, and X is working on a write-up for us, our recruit, Nick, our resident recruit, Nick, because he said he was listening yesterday. He's going to work on a little analysis piece for us. He believes Tennessee's getting ready to load up and go portal heavy. And when you go portal heavy, that means you start right now evaling who has what on their roster and who's going to be available at the end of the season. 2027, some of you don't want to hear this. 2026 is going to be a lay the tracks down year with this freshman quarterback. Get your feet wet. Or maybe George has a great summer and he wins a job. I would not bet on that based on people I've talked to. I wouldn't bet on that. So one way or another, David Sanders will be a first-round pick in the 2028 draft following the 2027 year. That site lists him at $1 million, but he's making over $2 million. The number is more like $2.2 million for him. Brandon makes 2.1. They've got the key kid listed at $1 million. He's making, or they've got him at $750,000. He makes north of $1 million. So player for player, they're shooting in the dark. Somehow they ended up at Tennessee's right figure. I'm just telling you that. Now, a guy like Dr. Z says, well, you say that they don't have the ear. No, what I'm saying is if they want to, you can get $50 million out of our booster base. You can. But you got to ask for it. You got to go for it. You got to want to do it. I mean, quite simply, you got to want to do it. Texas is recruiting like that because this head coach, not only does he want to do it, he's mad about anybody else that even attempts to do it. To Matt's point, why is he picking on Ole Miss besides the fact that they're going to make him look silly because they're going to be a playoff contender and they're not in that top 10. Indiana last year, Matt, expenditure-wise, who knows where they were? We believe they spent somewhere around what Tennessee spent, payroll-wise. That's a belief in the sport. And last season, which is a crazy, crazy figure to think about, last season, and this is one of your fun facts on the blog, 1 year ago, Indiana tracked at 100-1 to win it all when the odds went no limit live in July. The 100-1 shots right now, Matt, are Utah and SMU, if you're feeling frisky. Be like Utah or SMU, Matt, winning the Natty. In fact, Tennessee's odds, when you just look at payroll and what your odds are, okay? Tennessee's odds are 70-1. So Tennessee's got a better shot of winning the national championship this year than Indiana did last year. And Matt, you are still grappling with whether or not it was live or Memorex. Yes or no, Matt? What we saw from Indiana last year, because it was almost too perfect.
It was no. I'm not taking anything away from because it's just something I've never seen before in the sport, and I don't even have a good comparison to it for a team to go undefeated with that kind of talent and that roster. Even if you just go by like recruiting rankings, which can be flawed, but on the whole, they're pretty accurate. I mean, they had a bunch of James Madison transfers that started for them. And to do that in year two, to win at the level they did. And it's not just that they won, but how they did it. It was like they never made mistakes anywhere.
Yes.
It just looked just incredible to watch live, how you never had guys out of position. You never had a guy blow an assignment.
Yeah.
They never turned the ball or rarely turned the ball over. Just everything about it was just so robotic like, and they looked like a pro team playing college football. It's again the best 2-year coaching job I think in the history of college sports. What they did to go from where Indiana was to, I mean, they made the playoffs last year when they weren't very good at all. They got blown out in the games that against teams that could play, and then they turn around the next year and go undefeated and win a national title at Indiana, and in a playoff era where they had to beat playoff teams like 3 times.
And 2 years ago,
after beating Ohio State, the Big Ten title, like
that's right. That's crazy.
It's just crazy. I don't know. Like you're selling them, and yeah, it's hard to ever replicate that again.
Yes,
but I don't know how they couldn't do that again if they continue doing what they're doing.
I told C yesterday. I said I'm selling them. He said, "Yeah, I heard you." He said, "I totally disagree with you." He said, "As long as Kurt Cignetti's there, I'm buying them."
How could you sell Kurt Cignetti at this point?
And he went on to tell me, they have the second best odds to win it this year. And I said, no, I haven't even looked at the books, but the books are interesting because even Texas, and this might be what their head coach is doing in the offseason, making this noise out of nowhere. He's either, well, I don't want to say what I think, but it's odd that he would give those quotes. It's odd some of the stuff he said to Matt Hayes. I mean, we're gonna break away from the NCAA. I'll tell you another fissure that's out there is this Duke thing. This Duke thing with Amazon Prime is worth following, living ball fan and living college football, college sport fan. Here's why. Duke is claiming that by getting outside of their footprint of their league and scheduling their games as they've scheduled them, Michigan up in Madison Square Garden, Connecticut in Las Vegas, their claim is their league doesn't have any jurisdiction on that revenue, nor does the leagues of the teams that they're playing because they're outside the footprint. Tony Petitti has said we are entitled to the revenue from the Michigan game. That's our game, and we want the revenue. And I think they're going to take them to court, or they're going to settle before they get there. But this Petiti guy's not going to sit there and let Duke make up the rules and control the gold. Matt, I can't believe this, but apparently by the streaming service, Duke is getting paid $15 million a game, Matt. Now, let me ask you something.
Lord.
Yeah. If Duke basketball can get $15 million a game, what could Tennessee football get if they went out and sought their own deal through one of these streaming services? Because at the end of the day, this stuff is all about, and if you start saying, well, we have these extra games and they're going to exist outside the space of our league package, which is essentially what they've done. I mean, you're opening up a whole new can of worms. And one thing I've learned about this college sports stuff, sometimes when these coaches talk, it's crackpot talk. And sometimes when guys like the guy at Texas talk, it's birth pangs toward another movement. And he used the word in that Matt Hayes article, he used words like, it's time for us to defect. It might be time for us to break away. Might be time for us to secede from the NCAA. Things like that, like language that to me was what, huh? And at the same time, he's expressing his dismay with the way Ole Miss is conducting business. Ole Miss? Ole Swiss Miss? But I digress. He might be nervous, too, because the betting markets give Texas the fourth best odds of winning it all. Ohio State is the odds-on favorite to win it at plus 650. Texas has the fourth best odds, plus 750. Miami, the number 2 payroll, according to that front office deal. And again, nobody knows, but it's a fun little exercise to look at. Miami, 15-1, seventh best odds. LSU, 16-1, eighth best odds with the fourth highest payroll. Oregon with the fifth highest payroll, according to that survey, 8-1, fifth best odds. So 5-5. I mean, that's about right. I mean, if you're going to spend that kind of money, you should have the fifth best odds if you get the fifth highest payroll. Notre Dame plus 725, third best odds. A&M 18-1, ninth best odds. Alabama 25-1, 11th best odds, and they're number 8 sitting there. Tennessee at the number 9 spender on the board, top 9 spender in college football, at 70-1, 19th best odds. And then Texas Tech sitting there at 10, 20-1, representing the 10th best odds. Matt, your 2 outliers. You ready? Indiana, not on that list, is 7-1 with the second best odds to win it all. And when you look at Indiana, they've got a couple first-round picks on their team. They've got guys who they've developed. They've got a lot of guys back from that national championship team. Now they don't have their quarterback back, who was very good last year. Obviously, we all know that Mendoza was extremely good. Matt, they do have the kid though from TCU that we kicked the tires on. We really wanted him last spring. Tennessee, I think that was probably the first place Tennessee went. The guy they got the third base with was the kid from Illinois, but Tennessee, that was the first place they went, Matt, last year, trying to get him. How do you think Hoover will do at Indiana, Matt? If you talk about one of the outliers here.
Yeah, well, if he cuts down on the turnovers, he can be outstanding there. But he's just been very turnover prone, which kind of goes against the Indiana. Like we said, they don't make mistakes, and Mendoza certainly didn't. He was extremely efficient running those RPO things. So it's if Hoover can fit into that and limit the turnovers, they'll be back in the playoffs again. Absolutely,
which is wild to me. It's wild. I just don't think it's duplicatable. I think that was a once-in-a-lifetime deal. I think it's a 30 for 30. I mean, if Indiana does that, does Sonny anything near that again? Although they're going to have opportunities because you've got Michigan with a new coach in a little bit of flux. You've got Penn State, who had a bunch of their players are on our roster now and a few other places. James Franklin took some of them to Virginia Tech. I mean, they really have an opportunity there, Matt, if you think about it. The window probably stays open for that reason at Indiana this year, if Hoover can play, Matt. What do you think?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Again, all you got to do is go 9-3 to 10-2 to get in the playoffs. So that's all you need to do when you're Indiana. You don't have to go undefeated every year. You just have to get into the thing. So yeah, I think that all that's, the coordinators are back. I think that they return a lot of their guys were underclassmen or juniors last year. So it's a total outlier and unique situation, everything that he's done there.
The other weird thing is, and John Adams said he's not high on Georgia as a top 10 team, a top 10 winner in the sport over the next decade. I have Tennessee in there. I have Indiana in there. I have Penn State in there. Tennessee and Penn State have too much money and too much interest in getting back to the glory days not to see it through. Now, will those head coaches, do those head coaches have the stomach to do it? I don't know. Matt Campbell's coming from a place where he literally had to give some of his own money back in order to fund their athletic department the last couple of years. I'm not making that up. So now he's at a half program. He's had his moments there at Iowa State. I guess that's a pretty good hire for Penn State. But then Michigan said, hold my beer. Let me show you a hire. Hold my Dos Equis.
I think those are both great hires.
Really? You like both of them? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially where Michigan was, like the situation that was, they massively upgraded their coach and got kind of a no-nonsense guy that can clean up a lot of the obvious stuff that was going on under Sharon Moore. And they still have Bryce Underwood. And then Matt Campbell, I mean, to do what he did at Iowa State's incredible. I mean, yeah, they have some bad years and they lose some close games. That's because they have to play close games because they're not any good talent-wise.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's an outstanding coach. It will be interesting. He now can recruit a totally different level of players.
Yes.
And a lot of times there's an adjustment period there between recruiting the very talented, the most athletic and talented guys you can get versus the guys that fit what you want to do and how you have to balance that. He'll probably have a little bit of an adjustment there, but I think those are both just outstanding hires. It's like I've talked about, the Big Ten's made better football hires than the SEC.
Really strange. One day we ought to do that.
Fitzgerald at Michigan State, again, even though Brian thinks that they're an NIL contender in this era, like that's still a really good hire.
No, it's a great hire. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're exactly right. And the other outlier in this thing is, because John's selling them over the next 10 years, and this does track with what those people at front. And you can say what you want to say about the front office sports. They have 5,000 followers. They have this. I'm not worried about that. Because when I found out yesterday that their number on Tennessee was accurate, after I put in the blog the day before or yesterday that I didn't think it was accurate, and I find out it's accurate. Now, how they got there is not right, but player to player, I mean, on any of these teams, I just know for a fact that on a couple of those guys that they were wrong. But that's all right because they got to the right number. Let's say that it's somewhere in the ballpark. It's interesting that Georgia's not on that list. It's interesting Indiana's not on that list. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say this to you. If Kirby Dumb sticks around for 10 years, Georgia's going to win a couple more national championships. It doesn't matter how much money they have or don't have. And I hate to say this, okay? He's the best coach in the deal, bar none. He's the best coach in the deal. And the guy at Indiana is the best coach in the deal. Those two guys are the best coaches in their respective leagues. And they're 1A, 1B. Put one where you want to put one and put one where you want to put one. Those guys get more out of their kids on game day, more out of their staffs on game day, more out of their systems on game day. Hey, Matt, this Kirby Dumb guy can flat out coach a sport, man. I'm sorry. The way he works refs, the way he got them to change a couple calls last year, Matt. I mean, he's a total package over there. And I can't stand the guy. Cuts his hair with a Flowbee.
Relentless recruiter.
Looks like a bad athlete. Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's, going into last year, he's without question the best coach in college football. And yeah, besides Signetti, there's nobody else you can even argue. As long as he's in Athens, they're going to be at the top of the sport because he doesn't know any other way to coach. That's that's just all he's been around is, under Saban at Bama and now at Georgia. He only knows how to coach at a championship level, and he's going to continue to do that. The one thing I think is interesting, and I'm not sure how they're not in the top 10. I assume there's some way that they are, but they retain so much of their roster and they're not active in the portal as others.
Yep.
And it's a lot cheaper to retain your roster than it is to consistently build through the portal. So they are getting it's not a discount because they've signed them and developed them on their own, which I think you give more credit to in this era. But that's probably why they're not up there on those lists, because they retain so much of their players and don't get as active in the portal. They're one of them, and Ohio State are probably the few programs that could do that and compete at the highest level because they recruit the best high school players year over year. Nobody else can really do that. I mean, maybe Texas could if they really wanted to, but so few of those programs can do that through high school recruiting.
And the thing about Georgia is too, and this is where Tennessee's got to start showing at the end, you got to produce first-round picks. You have to start, if you're Tennessee, and you have designs on – now, if you have designs on making the playoff in a 2014 playoff and you're Tennessee, you can put a team on the field and you'll do that all day long. But if you have designs here on getting to like a national semifinal, putting that kind of team on the field, you're going to do that with first-round draft picks. You have to have those kind of players. Like, for instance,
especially on defense. Defense more than offense, to be honest. And on in line, it's offensive line too.
Yes,
because the NFL, even though Heupel has evolved here recently, it's still kind of considered a gimmicky offense that doesn't translate. And there's some truth to that.
Sure.
So you can have a Hendon Hooker have a great year, and maybe without the ACL injury, he is a first-round pick. But like Chris Brazzell was an extremely productive word. He wasn't a first-round pick, was he?
No,
he was second or third.
Yeah.
Like you definitely need first-round guys on defense, I think, more than offense, because Heupel's offense gives you that college production already, but defensively you absolutely need some NFL talent there, and along both lines of scrimmage, like David Sanders kind of is. But
and the interesting,
Deshaun Bishop's probably not going to play in the NFL,
right?
But there's a pretty good chance he leaves here as Tennessee's all-time leading rusher, and that's incredible, especially with whatever kind of NIL deals he's got. Is not going to be suitable to what his production actually is on the field.
As I wrote yesterday, I was poking around on where is the some of this money hidden from Tennessee, and it's in these classes. It's in this class. It's a second-year class, and in that freshman class. And I think what you're going to see, I'm going to make a little prediction for you. See if it happens. I think the head coach is going to be forced to pivot into, and that staff, into getting serious in the portal and going for it in 2027 after this season. And who knows what happens this year? Maybe some of you are right and they go 9-3. I don't see that. But maybe some of you are right and that happens. And one of these young quarterbacks gets out there and makes plays and runs around and becomes a revelation. I mean, it'd be pretty wild to see that. You think about the talented Michigan team they had last year. They threw a freshman quarterback out there, and what'd they go, Matt? 8-4, 9-3, 8-4, maybe something to that effect. I want to say.
Yeah, I think it's like 8-4.
Yeah, and I think they've got better. I think they have a better team than we did in a tougher league. But who knows? I mean, I guess anything can happen. But here's the crazy thing. Tennessee's got right now, and this is how I think you can have the 9th payroll in the deal and still only have the 19th best odds. A lot of your money is tied up in tomorrow and not today. That's a conclusion I've come to. Just poking around and getting a figure on David Sanders last night, who's going to be a first-round pick. I mean, unless he flunks some kind of physical deal, he's going to be a high first-round pick. And to Matt's point, on that offensive line, you've got to have a few of those guys. And then on defense, maybe a couple of these Penn State kids, once they grow, come to the party. Maybe this kid who's from Ohio, who had the hiccup in the middle of the spring, maybe Rodney Garner reaches him and he realizes his potential. But there's outliers here. Indiana's an outlier. Started 100 to 1 last year and won it. Had the second best odds now to win it. It's crazy. Payroll not in the top 10. Tennessee, 70 to 1 with one of the higher payrolls in the deal. I've come to the conclusion that their money is banked on tomorrow and not today. Now, you could say to me, well, Tony, that's not acceptable. I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm just telling you, looking at that, that's kind of because $37.1 million looked really large to me. And then I realized, when they're fighting for the 5-star wide receiver, they probably overpaid to get him. And when you look at their wide receiving core right now, Cinco said he thinks Rendarius Jackson's going to have a breakout year. He thinks Matthews going to come back and have a strong year. I mean, maybe they didn't. Maybe that guy's a luxury item, or maybe he's a big piece in 2027. Maybe that's the calculus here. It is going to be very interesting to watch. In case you're wondering, 70 to 1 odds on a national championship connotes from the folks in Vegas that the Vols will finish somewhere between 20 and 25 in America. That's sort of how they see Tennessee in this year's college football. 4 of Tennessee's opponents are ahead of them via Vegas and Auburn, incidentally. Auburn, who I think is probably a coin flip game for Tennessee this year, because I think Auburn's going to have the edge at quarterback with their veteran quarterback. Even though I don't like that hire, Comrade Golish. I just personally, I'm with Matt. I'm looking at what Matt, look at what the Big Ten did, and look at us adding guys like Silverfield and this dude from Auburn. Like, what are we doing, Matt? Odd, isn't it? And the Big Ten,
I
weird.
just think the Big Ten's make better coaching hires. I mean, getting Whittingham from Utah kind of worked out perfectly for Michigan. I mean, Penn State falling into Matt Campbell after like 2-month search. He should have been their first or second call to begin with. I mean, they kind of lucked into him somehow.
Penn State search was a disgrace. It was like
that guy Arkansas hired is not going to work out. We all know that.
I mean, what are they doing?
Also, Will Stein in Kentucky. It's Kentucky. They can take a chance on a young OC, I guess. But he's not proven at all.
It's Stein time up there.
Overall, at Florida was a pretty good hire, and I think that's going to work out pretty well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Summerall, Florida is one of my wild cards over the next 10 years. I have a couple of them, Florida and BUY, a.k.a. BYU, because they're BUYing as many prospects as they can get their hands on in football and basketball, because they have Deshae, Monet. But I'd like to hear from you on this topic. They believe Tennessee is going to be, and I'm going to get Matt's thoughts on this, somewhere between 20 and 25 at the end of the year. And really, can I say this out loud? If Tennessee were to have a finish somewhere between 20 and 25 this year against that schedule, with our eyes on 2027, and you grow a quarterback, I'm almost to the point here in mid-May where I'm going to say that I think that'd be okay with me. Can I say that out loud? If you show me, let's say hypothetically the freshman plays and you really grow him, and then you get online a good offensive line that grows as the season goes along. And then you have, under Jim Knowles, you're going to take your bumps in some of these games. They're going to get turned around and confused. And I mean, it's just going to happen. He's a first-year coordinator, but they're going to have better personnel on defense. Surely they're not going to be towards the bottom of the deal on defense. And by the way, James Franklin, I don't know if you saw that interview, Matt, but we can talk about that as well. He came out and blamed Jim Knowles. He basically said, I made 2 fatal hires that got me fired. And he talked about his offensive coordinator, and then he threw shade at Knowles. And I'm like, dude, you're the one that did it. You're the one that did it. But we'll come back on the other side. 865-200-5402. I show my work today over at tclub.team if you want to check it out, or tonybasilio.com. And we further continue the discussion. Also, Tennessee on the road tonight with Oklahoma. Will you be watching some Thursday night baseball? And how in on this baseball team are you right now? Do you believe the baseball Vols, now that we're got to the postseason here, do they have a run in them? They certainly have talent. I mean, we've been waiting for it all year. They showed it against Texas in spurts. Against Texas, you saw the good, the bad, and I guess you could say the ugly. But the good, there's enough good there for these guys to make a run. And Berkey's minting a trophy for them running the table on Tuesday nights. Tuesday night Berkey. As we continue with more on the other side right after this. You know how East Tennessee takes its barbecue seriously. Well, TMG Fest is about to take it to the next level. Saturday, May 23rd, Hardin Valley Event Center. Doors open at 2 and the event runs till 9. A live fire barbecue competition and full-blown festival all wrapped into one. 15 pit masters from all around the country. Teams coming in from Texas, the Carolinas, California, and of course from Knoxville to square off in a legit smoke-off competition. And the cool part, you're not just watching, you get to walk around, taste what they're cooking, and help decide who wins. It's a real crowd judging situation, and that's just the competition side of things. There's also a live fire cooking demonstration happening throughout the day. Learn techniques, how they manage their fire, how they work with different cuts, different wood, different pit styles. If you're someone that loves cooking outdoors or wants to get better at it, this is a great opportunity to learn up close and personal from the experts. And it's all wrapped in a real festival atmosphere, live music, lawn games, food vendors, and the block party energy just makes for a great day, rain or shine, from 2 to 9. Kids 12 and under get in free, so bring the family. Tickets on sale now at tmgfest.com. That's tmgfest.com. TMG Fest, Saturday, May 23rd, Hardin Valley Event Center. This one's going to be fun. tmgfest.com. Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. He doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he definitely prefers Dos Equis. That's right. The most interesting man in the world has returned, and he's more interesting than ever before. His phone is addicted to him. All of his teeth, all are wisdom teeth. So raise a Dos Equis to the man, the myth, the legend. And remember, stay thirsty, my friends. Dos Equis, enjoy responsibly. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776. Or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Baseball fans, it's time to step up to the plate. Look your best. Get some new Tennessee gear from Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall has the best selection. Top brands for you to choose from this season. Look, it's nice and warm outside. So get into any of their 6 air-conditioned East Tennessee locations. Shop online, download the app, grab your Tennessee baseball jersey, your hat, your decal, maybe a t-shirt, and they have so much more. Earn $10 in rewards for every $150 you spend. Go Vols and shop Alumni Hall, your ultimate Tennessee shopping destination. Touch them all with Alumni Hall.
Next week is a huge week for your Knoxville Smokies. Don't have your tickets yet? It's not too late. Join us Tuesday as we honor our incredible law enforcement. And Wednesday is all you can eat. The weekend is kicking off with one of our favorites, Margaritaville. Food and drink specials all night long with that island feel and post-game concert and fireworks. Saturday, it's not only a doubleheader, but it's Grateful Dead night and fireworks. We end the week with our day game of the week on Sunday. It's jam-packed, so get your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. My friends over in the YouTube chat have come up with some interesting stuff, Matt. They think Kirby Smart won't be there the full decade, which I'm counting on Kirby Smart being there because I think he's a young guy. He's like early 50s. Now, I don't know that he coaches till he's 70. He said on record he doesn't want to be, like Nick Saban, wearing the Buster Brown hair. Somebody said maybe at some point, we see him go the Danny White route. Matt, I haven't asked you about this. What do you think of Danny White's hair with the party in the back? What do you think of him with the mullet, the brown? Some people say it's a perm. They think he has a permanent.
I don't really have a opinion on it. I don't really care at all.
Our fans are really something. Our fans notice everything, man. Our fans notice everything.
Yes, they do.
Everything. All right, Matt. So Vegas says that with our odds to win it all, they're saying we're going to go bet 8-4. Finish in the top 25. Finish for somewhere between 20 and 25. I'm saying for the record right now against that schedule with either a quarterback that's throwing like 5 passes or a true freshman quarterback, which I think that's what you're going to see. I would take that right now, Matt. Is that heresy by me?
No, I think that'd be a pretty good year.
Yep.
Considering a first-year starter at quarterback and a brand new defense. As long as it kind of sets the table for next year.
That's right.
And if you go 8-4, that means you enter November still in the playoff hunt, which is what you had this past year. Even though that Oklahoma game kind of ended that, you can at least go into the last month of the year with a chance to make the playoffs, which is kind of all that matters now in the sport, unfortunately.
Now we're going to go to the phones here momentarily, and I want to hear from you at 865-200-5402. Again, Indiana, Tennessee 70-1 right now. Indiana last year, those of you that want to dream, Indiana last year was 100-1 shot. So Tennessee actually has much better odds than Indiana did a year ago. The 100-1 shots this year are Utah and SMU. Utah and SMU. By the way, shout out to Brian Hartman today. Great write-up on the Lady Vol softball team who host this weekend in Knoxville. Host with the most. So get out and support them in their tournament action. Matt, before we go to the phone.
Is he still comparing them to Michigan's basketball team?
I think that they had that great start, right? And then they played like 500 softball. They haven't been very good the last 15 games.
They were getting close to being called losers by a local radio host.
Well, maybe if they had scrutiny on them, they probably would have. The other day I was doing some busy work for our other gig here, and when Matt comes on and Will Heflin goes, well, Tony said, and Matt shuts him down and goes, I don't care what Tony said. Well, I'm not amused. Who cares? He's a casual. He uses the term losers. We're not dealing with Tony, which is really funny, Matt. By the way, they'll be with you, probably Matt and myself, I would think, because say a prayer for Will Heflin and Erica. They're expecting their child anytime now, beginning today. And so they're on alert. And Will's going to be a first-time offender. So congratulations to them and prayers up. Prayers up for everything to go well there. We'll go to the phones. Hey, Matt, I want 2 out of 3. I want to win 2 back-to-back series this weekend. This Oklahoma team, as we got the lowdown on them 2 days ago, is kind of reeling right now. Why does it feel like Tennessee's going to close the season with
Oh, no. Don't get your hopes up, Tone. Continue to bash them. They're going to play in a big ballpark.
right?
They're not going to field it well. They're going to
Not field it well. They're one of the best fielding teams in the country. What do you mean they're not going to field it well? They're the best. They're like the 4th best fielding team in the country. What are you talking about?
They have the number 1 fielding percentage in the country.
Well, how are they not going to field it well?
As crazy as that is, they're not one of the best defensive teams in the country. I know that the fielding percentage is really high, and they've cut down on giving up stolen bases. So, but it works. It's a good formula to have. But you need to continue your supposed bit from last week where they're a bunch of losers. But It's a series I think you have a good chance to win.
Thank
Oklahoma's
you.
scuffling. Their pitchers are not very good. I actually really love the matchup tonight. Cam Johnson's their big lefty who was like a borderline first rounder out of high school, but went to LSU for a year and transferred to Oklahoma. He's kind of got a knee injury that he's playing through.
Oh man!
But he's a fastball heavy, like sinker pitcher.
They love those guys.
And he's a lefty. Tennessee hammers lefties, and Tennessee is a fastball hitting team. So, in my mind, it's a really good matchup tonight. And I watched them go out and roll over on 12 ground balls. But I think tonight's a good chance to jump on Oklahoma early.
First pitch tonight, Matt, is?
That I do not know. Probably 6:30 or 7.
I got to find that. Yeah, because they're Central Time.
I always go to Brian Hartman for the time.
I know. Brian's Google. And without Brian
I should
here,
know, though. That's on me.
No, it's not on you. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Tone? It's Hoosier Ball Ryan.
There he is, the man whose club over the next decade I'm selling.
Now, I'm totally with you. How unbelievable. To put it in comparison,
yes,
no one's ever went 16-0. And Ohio State, that, let's be honest, had a better team last year.
Yes.
Or 2 years ago.
Yes.
That team was better than Indiana's team last year. And also, Miami, if they had a better coach, I'll just say it, and if they had 5 more minutes, was going to beat Indiana.
Yeah, they were. That just goes to show you.
Reeling.
Well, you know what, Ryan? That just goes to show you, because that Indiana team was not good, not great. They were like all-time great compared to the sport last year. They ripped that Alabama team apart like they weren't even there. And you have to stand up and take notice of that. When you beat somebody like that in the Rose Bowl in a national game like that. But here's the thing, and you touch on it, man, Miami is spending some serious money on their payroll, and they're seriously aggressive. And thank God that they had Carson Beck back there throwing the ball up for grabs late.
And but Tone, here's my thing. I'm just going to touch on the Indiana thing briefly.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think last year's Indiana football team is going to go down the way the 1976 Indiana Hoosiers basketball team is remembered, as no one thinks they're one of the greatest teams ever.
That's interesting.
You know, the 96 Wildcats, the recent UConn, several others. But you had to see them in person, be like, it was machine-like. And what if Kurt Signetti is Bobby Knight, where he takes less and does more? That's kind of what I think. And I'm sorry, I do think he will win another one in 10 years. And I just, not saying he's going to do 16-0 again, but
I'm selling that.
I think if you were betting the man, I don't see why you'd bet against him. Does it have anything to do with, you're saying Georgia will do it? You said 2 or 3 times. And Kirby is 1A or 1B to Signetti.
He's excellent, yes.
Is it rooted in Georgia's high school talent? Because I think that's kind of obsolete now. But with the portal, it's not obsolete. It doesn't matter that Indiana is not talent rich.
Actually, Matt touched on this. Georgia's the one program, because they're so talent rich, that they can grow their own and just sort of augment from the portal. And you know, our parents taught us as we grew up, there's exceptions to all rules. The rule is going to be, you better take 75% of your payroll, especially when you're at Tennessee and you can't grow your own. You cannot rely on high school recruiting if you want to do it year in and year out. Now, if you want to do what I think the Vols are going to do, which is load up for 2027, you can go ahead and sign 2 classes and put a bunch of money in 2 high school classes, with the idea of then in the 3rd year, the year where we're gonna make it really count, we're then going to jump into the portal and cherry pick for our needs. You can do that. But Matt, your point for Georgia was that their rich, fertile territory that they have, and I think one of the reasons why they don't get as much outward defection from kids, they're high-level kids. They do off their roster with some players. I mean, they'll have 15 or 20 guys leave each year, like a lot of these programs will, but not the real high money guys.
Not the ones they want to keep.
Yeah, because those kids know if I stay here,
I'm getting developed, which is key.
I'm going to the NFL.
They have a good. That's right. Recruiting in Atlanta is good, but they can recruit national as well. But they're elite high school recruiters and they're elite developers of that talent, and that's where there's another big separator. Is like them, Ohio State are probably the only two I think that are elite in both of those categories, which is why that works for them. And and it's a good point. They retain a lot of their key players, which in this day and era, you can't really scoff at. Like that's kind of a hat tip to them. They're able to do that, regardless of how they do it. They're still able to do that, and that's certainly an advantage that they have.
Hey,
Ryan, why is the talk about how come nobody ever went after either of his coordinators?
Hey, Ryan, hang right
why
there.
Why is there no talk about those guys leaving or jumping ship? I think that's kind of
stay there, Ryan. I want to unpack that. Stay right there because I want to keep this thing legal real quick.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
So now that we're live and legal, large and in charge, my name's Tony Basilio. Matt Dixon's with me today. Brian Hartman's on assignment. He's in search of Bino's brain. Good luck, Brian, finding that. We've got the great Hoosier Vol Ryan, who's blessed us with a phone call. We're discussing the fact that earlier in the week, I did a program of the top 10 teams that I think are going to be winners over the next decade, the biggest winners in college football, despite the fact that Curt Cignetti's there and a rather young and robust. He's just mid-60s and he's in great condition. So he looks to be there for the next decade. I just don't think what they did is duplicatable. Matt Dixon, when we left for our legal break, asked Hoosier Vol Ryan why, when the strength coach was made the top strength coach in the sport by our All Politics Are Local Tennessee Volunteers, why weren't either coordinator poached off that staff? And Hoosier Vol Ryan, what's the answer to that in your mind?
Well, and I'm far from an insider, and I admit I've only started following my undergrad alma mater's football program closely in the last 2 years, and guilty as charged. Why would anybody follow it prior? So I don't know, but my guess would be one of them is the heir apparent, because Tone, he might coach 10 years, but he's older than you think. And as intense as that man is, I don't think he could do that at 73, 74. But I've been wrong. I don't know.
He's Italian. Those people, a lot of olive oil, man. Those people live a long time. Trust me.
And that's good. I'll have to start upping the olive oil in my Scott-Irish diet.
Yes.
Sounds like. But,
yes.
And I think a lot of it's Indiana because, no offense, Tone, you kind of say he's the best coach. He's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it, but it's never going to happen again. I bet that plays into why he doesn't have the Nick Saban kiss seal of approval that got all those other coordinators millions and millions of dollars in failure money. So that would be my guess is people are like, I'm not hiring Indiana's DC. Cignetti did it all. So I don't know.
It is interesting, though. It is interesting because, Matt, none of those guys even got a nibble. It seemed like you didn't even hear their names for
you never heard them
get
mentioned with Mitch. A lot of that's agent driven, so maybe they just don't have the egos and don't have obviously they don't have Jimmy Sexton as an agent. But I just think that's fascinating because you see these teams can't wait to hire the coordinator of the 1 year wonder teams. You see it every year.
Yes,
and again, it's another fascinating point that Cignetti was on Saban's staff down there at Bama for a little while.
Recruiting coordinator.
And literally everybody got hired off those staffs to be head coaches except Cignetti. He had to go to like the deep 3 route, which I've always found kind of fascinating too. There seems to be some tension there between him and Saban whenever you see these stuff on game day.
Well, Matt, great points. It adds to the 30 for 30 that will be made. Let me ask you guys this, and we're hitting on it. Kirby route.
Yep.
Elite high school supplement portal.
Yep.
I think we can say to a definitive that is not a good route for the Tennessee Vols and Heupel to take.
Right.
Signetti route, the exact flip. Michigan State's wideout gets paid. A kid like Charlie Becker, who he didn't recruit, but let's say the next Charlie Becker gets the privilege of coming to Indiana and prove it and make your money 2 years from now. Or is Heupel good enough? No offense, and I love him and I love the Vols, but is Heupel good enough to identify like Signetti? Or third route, Texas Tech, Miami, Cristobal, spin, make it rain, get as much talent as possible. Which one should we do? I'm leaning towards number 3.
No, number 3. In this league, number 3.
Because that's what Cristobal in Miami does. He's not that good of a coach. He just makes it rain and gets the talent.
We have a guy that's an NFL owner. $50 million to those people is nothing. It's just not. I mean, it's just not. Look, if Rick Barnes can go out and can spend around $20 million, which is what Tennessee's going to end up coming in at, that's nuts,
Right.
man. Basketball?
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money, man. That's the top of the sport, man. And and if you can do that here, you can spend $50 million on football and go buy yourself a seat at the table.
And I'll close with this because I've had a lengthy phone call, but it was great, guys.
You're great.
I had a good time talking with y'all. Josh Heupel is at least as good a coach as Mario Cristobal. Can we all agree on that?
Of course.
Give him that roster.
Much better. He's much better than him. And listen, I appreciate
I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, you can get
there. They had 5 more minutes a game, and they were winning that championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's just Signetti was so good, he got it home.
And I appreciate
the Vols can do that.
And if you can. Listen, that's why people think I did that because I'm pandering. I don't pander to anybody. I've never pandered. I don't. If I pandered, I would be so much further along in what I do. That's just not in my blood. It was never in my blood to pander to management, which led me to getting sideways with a couple people early in my radio career when everybody else was kissing the boss's ass and going out for drinks after work. It's not my way. It's just not my way. It's just not my way. And if I didn't believe that Tennessee is going to be a big winner over the next decade or one of the top 10 winners in the sport, I wouldn't say that. What's in it for me to say that? But, you know, this is a lot of fun, and it's an interesting thing to look at. And, you know, I just think it's a fun exercise to look at and to consider when you think about, you know, a Texas being a top spender in the sport. And yesterday, somebody that ought to know told me that figure for Tennessee is accurate. And I'm a believer, Matt, the more I consider and just looking at a couple players last night, that they've tied a lot of money up into the future. And we'll see if it comes to pass. But I think the play is going to be, you have the season this year, you develop what you need to develop. They've got to have a hit at quarterback. For 2027 to really, and people to be patient with Heupel here through all this, they've got to have a hit at quarterback. You feel me on that?
Yeah, well, Heupel always does, though. I mean, maybe not a great one that, you know, maybe Joe Milton level or whatever, but that's not going to be the issue. Like, Heupel will have a competent quarterback and competent offense. Now, maybe you pad that against really bad teams and you struggle against the best ones, but yeah. I think you'll be okay at quarterback, regardless of who you put out there, just because of the system.
865-200-5402 is the number. Again, 865-200-5402 is the numero dos. By the way, shout out to Alex Meyer. Shout out to sexy Lance McCleskey. Two of the great Piston fans in my life. Boys. Hey, boys. Boys. That was a tough one last night. Boys, the Pistons, Trajan Langdon, they built a team that's defensive oriented. That's pretty hardcore. A team that get in your grill and really defend you, and a team that, well, is capable for 3 minutes at a time going scoreless. And unfortunately for the Pistons last night, the spigot got shut off. They had a 9-point lead, and the game went to overtime. All they had to do in an NBA basketball game in the last 3 minutes is score a point. They've let, and the impossibles happen, okay? The bearded one, the brooding, weird, odd stat sheet stuffer that is James Harden, who's never done anything in his postseason life. Anything. Is turning into Jimmy Butler. He's like willing, Alex, close your ears. Lance, close your ears. He's willing the Cleveland Cadavers into their conference semifinal. And last night, the Pistons didn't have their alleged next year max player Duran on the floor. Or Doran. What are we doing? Alex? And what are we doing? Lance? As in, what are we doing? So there you go. And it looked just like Tennessee basketball, Matt. You get right to the precipice. You're getting ready to take a 3-2 lead. They had a 2-0 series lead. Their poor fan base has been tortured and tormented, and they enjoy and love the sport up there. And, hey, Matt, that's pretty hard to do, go scoreless in an NBA basketball game. Last 3 minutes of a game. And it looked just like the basketball balls. Spigot off, scoring over. I mean, poor Alex today. Poor Alex, man.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom how that could happen.
I want to shout him out, though. By the way, if you want to get in, our lines are wide open on this Thursday, 865-200. 5402. Hoosier Vol Ryan with a great call there. So the other little item here that I want to get into is that I'm going to be honest with you. This Christian Fermin guy was not on my list of potentials for the basketball team. He's he's an interesting idea for the basketball Vols. Now, he comes from the Poconos up in Pennsylvania. He played some as a true freshman, played with Terrence Hill there. Terrence Hill obviously knows him. When you look at the list of schools involved with this Fermin guy, how do you say this? One of these just doesn't belong here, and that would be your Tennessee Volunteers. It's a curious development. We're almost getting to the point here where it's 10-2 territory for Tennessee when it comes to big people. I've told you that they were going to sign the kid that ended up in Virginia. They couldn't believe that Virginia shelled out $1.5 million for, as I wrote in the blog today, $1.5 million for a high school center. Nobody's doing that now. Tennessee was going to pay the guy 7 figures, but they were going to pay him as a developmental piece who would emerge, hopefully for them, play 15 or so minutes, and 10 to 15 a night, and then would emerge as the season expired, hopefully toward becoming a rim protector presence in March as part of this highly paid team they put together. But hey, best laid plans of mice and men, and that's the way it goes. Transfer portal giveth, or this era giveth, this era taketh away. Last year, Tennessee got beat by Virginia for a guard that would have helped them. Did they get beat here for a forward or a big guy that could have helped them? Will we be looking back at the development? And by the way, the other development with Virginia was the off guard last year, who ended up at Louisville, McNeely. Will we end up looking back on this and going, hey, Virginia did it again to us? I don't know. But I will tell you this. In all honesty, this Fermin thing has caught me totally off guard. I hear that the Vols are considering, Matt, trying to pull a trick out of their sleeve from Europe. You know, international players have been pretty good to us, Matt. I wouldn't mind kicking the tire on that rather than, well, I don't know. Maybe this Fermin guy can play, Matt. Who knows? I know that he'll be super cheap, or at least he looks like he'll be super. If you look at the teams that are involved with him,
yeah, I mean, I think there's a reason he's still available and would come super cheap. Like that's not a good thing at this point in the portal cycle. I mean, you're not getting an established big at this point unless you've identified somebody that nobody else has, which considering he's actually played a little bit and at VCU, like I just don't think that's the case. I think you just kind of missed out on getting any kind of rim protector. You're certainly not going to find one at this point unless you have some scout overseas that's identified somebody and you get really, really lucky on.
Yes, like a Vesco hiding in plain sight. I'll never forget that. And I'm open to that. It happens.
Yeah, it's just those are guards. I just think with big men, it's like offensive linemen. It's a developmental position, so you have you kind of know what you have in a guy. Like anybody that's established that's already shown those skills, I just don't think are available at this point. Again, unless it's some international guy that's under the radar, which that's a really risky thing to try to bank on.
I know they've kicked the tires on a couple of guys from the West Coast, which I wrote in the blog today. This one here, I wonder if, and I haven't confirmed this because I couldn't get anybody yesterday on this thing. I wonder if Terrence Hill went to them and said, hey, I played with this guy. He would be worth taking a shot on. He was going to have a pretty good year before he bowed out due to personal reasons, which I understand. He's since gotten in order. But you look at his numbers, you look at his list of schools, that looks like a pretty underwhelming addition for the Vols. Again, I know some of you think that I'm here to hype you up on the basketball team. Not my job. Never been my job. I'm going to call everything as I see it. Going to call each individual case as I see it. I think Tennessee was really surprised that they didn't end up with Ivy. And Ivy be taking $1.5 million, which is crazy. In college basketball right now, the veterans are getting paid. 4-star guys like him are not making that kind of money. They're just not. And Virginia money whipped him. And that's the danger you're always going to run into when you're putting these teams together ad hoc. The danger is there, And Tennessee made a run at the kid from Vanderbilt, which I love. I was talking to Plaster about that. They're saying, by the way, Matt, it looks like that kid might stay in the NBA draft. If that happens, Vanderbilt's ship this next year will be sunk if that happens. We're really going to see what kind of coach they have. If that kid stays in the draft, we're really going to see what kind of coach they have, because that's going to be a nightmare.
Definitely an uphill battle for them.
Mm-hmm.
Saw Gillespie had a great game over there in whatever the NBA Combine stuff was.
Good for him, man.
And Cam Carr too, by the way. Shout out Dave.
I love old Dave.
Super team every year.
No, Dave's my favorite because he literally sent me a string of texts to my burner phone, no less, regarding, and people think Dave's like a radio creation, and he's really a maniac. He's upset because a bracketologist at ESPN has as a 4 seed a year before the tournament. As if Rick Barnes can control that, as if any of us can control that. Responding to like what a bracketologist wrote. Huh? Well, I don't understand. I mean, you get the same team. Just sign your guys. Here's the other thing about the transfer portal era in basketball. It's so agent-driven now that the narrative is, well, Tennessee didn't want to bring these guys back. In some of the cases, the guys were already out the door. They were floored by the Evans kid. They could not believe he left. They were like, look, we're going to bring you back. We're going to make you a centerpiece. We're going to pay you, blah, blah, blah. The kid was like, well, this is what I want. And they were like, well, have a Dwight Gooden. And by the way, he didn't get that from Texas either. These agents are selling these, they're moving these guys around, and that's the deal. And Dave, if you're listening, no offense to you, but you're a stone cold freak. Let's go to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
What's that, Don?
Hey, Philly, good to hear from you, man. While we talk hoops
How you
here.
Matt doing?
Doing great, brother.
Well, you're talking a little basketball recruiting there. It's this kid from VCU on Vol Nation. They're saying most of them are saying that they're not going. Tennessee's not going to take the guy.
Well, that would make sense. That would make sense.
So,
the fact that he visited,
still,
it's interesting to me, the fact that he visited, Phil. I don't know where they go. I know they're involved with a couple West Coast guys. If they get them here, I don't know what's out there, Phil.
well, you got to remember Toby Awaka was a late signee going through this AAU crap. He was, there's still going to be AAU guys that haven't signed scholarships are going to be on the circuit trying to get a big time offer.
Did
so
they
who knows?
Hey, Phil, was Toby Awaka reclassified, or am I imagining that?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't recruited. I mean, until
they just found him.
Just like they found Ziegler.
Ziegler was maybe you hold one. Maybe you hold one for that reason. I understand they were also considering doing some finagling with the roster and maybe adding 2. But I guess we'll see what happens, Phil. That's a really interesting point. I wonder in the portal era how many of those guys are kind of hiding in plain sight, because what ZZ told me when he was live on the show with us was crazy, which is, hey, man, my only offer was St. Peter's. And I went down to the Peach Jam, and I told my mother, look, I'm going to give up basketball if I can't get something better than that. I might just give this up. And he went down there and exploded.
Yeah. Well, there is a Robert Miller, a post player from LSU, hadn't been signed yet. He's a top 200 in the portal big guy, and he can block shots. And then you got the Preston Wade, a high schooler who's ranked in the top 150. He's out of Murfreesboro, and he hadn't signed with anybody. I don't know if any of these guys Tennessee's looking at or not. I have no idea.
I'll run them up the flagpole, Phil. You say Wade and Miller,
Preston
right?
Wade out of Murfreesboro.
Okay. Preston Wade.
and Robert Miller out at LSU.
All right.
I think both of them are 6'10", 6'11". And they both can block shots. Now, I don't know if they're good enough to what we want over here or not. I don't know.
The LSU kid, that's not the one that's like uber athletic that got hurt, is it? I assume not. That guy's probably taken by now.
I don't know, man. Don't know. I'm just speculating. I have no idea. You did make a good point about going overseas and getting players. Everybody else is going over there. I want to get some.
Well, they've talked about it. The thing about Barnes is, though, man, they want to make sure. And that's why this kid, even showing up on Tennessee's campus yesterday, that's why I just said out loud, it makes no sense. That just doesn't make any sense.
Maybe that kid, maybe you're right. Maybe the guard they got.
Yeah.
So y'all take a look at him. I mean,
right.
You know.
And maybe they brought him in and worked him out yesterday. Maybe they liked what they saw, or maybe they didn't like it. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, Phil. And we've said this. I think Barnes has done a nice job of taking information from his staff. And it wouldn't surprise me if they took a little information from Hill, who they regard as the top. He was the top guy on their board, which I think is really interesting.
Would you say that the new addition on the staff, the Morrow, is the best recruiter on their staff? I mean, it seems to me like half these guys they got in the portal he's involved with.
Yes, he's got a great – I don't know if he's the best recruiter because I'm not even sure what goes on in terms of recruiting, but he definitely has ties to a bunch of kids, Phil. No doubt about that.
And this kid from that went to Virginia,
yes,
he's getting all this money, but he's going to sit on the bench because Virginia's got their whole front line back.
That's right. He's going to have the same role there, essentially, that he's going to have here. But Tennessee could not believe Virginia money whipped him like that, and they were not going to go to 1.5 or 1.75 for him. They just weren't going to do it.
Yeah,
because those kids aren't making money
on the roster, right?
Do what now?
He spent $20 million on the basketball roster.
It's close. Yeah, it's going to be close. I don't have the final tally. I don't know what that is. I'm going to try to dig and see what we can come up with. But yeah, it's around that neighborhood. They're definitely top 4 in the SEC. Them, Arkansas, Florida, and then Texas are the top 4.
Yeah. Well, I think Kentucky got him a guy that's been there 7 years at Washington. He got he's going to be eligible to play. I don't know how he can go college basketball 6 or 7 years and be able to still play.
Well, Matt Jones is in favor of that. He wasn't for ZZ last summer, but he's in favor of that guy getting 7 years. Hey, listen, here's the thing about Kentucky. I give them credit. They've done a nice job of scrambling here at the end and putting together a representative kind of bubble level team, sort of what the Lady Vols did. And that analogy continues to ring true. Like Matt was the first one to make that cross sport analogy. He didn't look comfortable with all the 5-star guys last year and that highly paid payroll. And she didn't look comfortable with it. And both those programs got in scramble mode. And who knows, maybe both of them will eke into the tournament.
Well, if we can do this in basketball, why don't Heupel get off his butt and buy us a roster to contend for a championship this year whenever we got most of these good games in Knoxville?
I don't know. I mean, to me, I'm with Bino. If it were my dime and my dance floor, I would. If I'm Tennessee, I'd be throwing my weight around every year like I'm a heavyweight in that deal. I would make a list of 4 or 5 superstar players that I want on both lines of scrimmage, and I would go get me some playmakers on both lines of scrimmage, sort of like Texas did. Hey, yeah. Texas said, hey, you know what? We're close. I want that kid from Auburn. Hell, I'd have loved to have that kid from Auburn.
Yeah, great receiver.
Or a great running back. You know, let's go out and identify 2 or 3 guys. I would love to get a home run hitting running back. No offense to the Bishop kid, like Matt said, who's a nice player. But, man, go get yourself an elite running back just to see what it looks like.
Well, there's one down in Chattanooga, Basilio they better get, or McCall.
Well, the kid from Canada.
That guy,
that guy's a hell of a player.
He's a generational running back.
He's a hell of a player.
Well, Tony, I'm glad me and you can be able to go to Danny World now and spend a little money. See you.
Yeah. I can't wait. I want to play some music in Danny World as we come back on the other side, just to say I did it. As we continue with more 865-200. You think he'll have me over there at the ribbon cutting ceremony, Matt? You think Danny will have me over?
Well, since there'll be sharp objects there, he might have you there for that. Yeah.
What, are they putting like a hair care salon there? Sure.
You might get a knife in your back.
As we
get shanked, end up in the river.
As we continue with more on the other. Hey, don't get many ideas. We continue with more after this. I want to be inviting you to experience the Collins Insurance difference. And what's that? How about multiple top carriers that you can trust? Like Erie. They underwrite our entire Rainier studio and everything around it. Travelers, Hartford, Hanover, Progressive. We do what's right because we care. In today's technology-driven world, maintaining the human touch, Bruce Springsteen, is one of our main focuses. We deliver the best customer service humanly possible. We give you someone that you can actually call or sit in front of. Imagine that. No call centers here. Experience the Collins Insurance difference. Check them out at collinsinsuranceTN.com, and they're Mrs. B approved. Collins Insurance.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here with the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, I can hear it in the background, brother. It's World Cup season, and you guys are in the middle of it. Talk to me.
We are excited. Our U9 through U12 trials just kicked off today for our locations in Knoxville and in Johnson City. So we're ready to offer any player top-level competition, top-level training anywhere they want to be in Northeast Tennessee. In our programs, we offer competitive play for anywhere from 9-year-olds to 19-year-olds. We've got two locations. Our location in Knoxville is kind of our home base, and our location up in Johnson City in the Tri-Cities area is our FC Alliance North. Both locations are growing tremendously, and we're excited about what the future holds here at both locations.
Growing the beautiful game in the season of the World Cup. Chad Stockton, how can folks get more information?
Go to our website, FC Alliance or FCAllianceNorth.org. And both locations, we're happy to serve the beginning player or the more experienced player, because what we will promise is the top-level training and top-level leagues that we can play in for all of our players.
Growing the beautiful game in Knoxville and now also in the Tri-Cities. FC Alliance. Thank you, Chad Stockton.
Thanks, buddy.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
You know how East Tennessee takes its barbecue seriously. Well, TMG Fest is about to take it to the next level. Saturday, May 23rd, Hardin Valley Event Center. Doors open at 2, and the event runs till 9. A live fire barbecue competition and full-blown festival all wrapped into one. 15 pitmasters from all around the country. Teams coming in from Texas, the Carolinas, California, and of course from Knoxville to square off in a legit smoke-off competition. And the cool part, you're not just watching, you get to walk around, taste what they're cooking, and help decide who wins. It's a real crowd judging situation, and that's just the competition side of things. There's also a live fire cooking demonstration happening throughout the day. Learn techniques, how they manage your fire, how they work with different cuts, different wood, different pit styles. If you're someone that loves cooking outdoors or wants to get better at it, this is a great opportunity to learn up close and personal from the experts. And it's all wrapped in a real festival atmosphere, live music, lawn games, food vendors, and the block party energy just makes for a great day, rain or shine, from 2 to 9. Kids 12 and under get in free. So bring the family. Tickets on sale now at tmgfest.com. That's tmgfest.com. TMG Fest, Saturday, May 23rd, Hardin Valley Event Center. This one's going to be fun. tmgfest.com. T to the B and U. It is live, local, ready to rock and roll. It's a 7:30 start tonight, boys and girls. And TGMD is called the shot. Called the shot. Isn't that right, Matt? Tonight you're calling the shot?
Yeah, I think Tennessee's lineup should have a lot of success against Oklahoma's starter. So, and you got Coons going, who's been, obviously been your best pitcher here recently.
Yep.
Probably not going to replicate what he did against Texas, but yeah, I think Tennessee's got a good chance to win tonight. The matchup, I think it's a very favorable matchup.
And I will say this for the record, ladies and germs. Here's my thing. I will say that back to our previous conversation. Well, let me stay with baseball for one sec here. It would be really cool to see these guys go into the postseason having won 2 series in a row, 3 of their last 4 series, and feeling like there's some momentum and some hope. Obviously, it's 2 different seasons. Obviously, it shouldn't matter. Obviously, this team's well, I'm saying obviously, this team feels like they're already in the postseason. They go out to this weekend and don't do well. But I'm just talking about, it would be fun to consider, hey, you know what? These guys might be starting to wake up a little bit. Because really, this is the money time. You know, that loud stuff that happened in Knoxville in the regional was washed away last year. A pretty listless and bad home performance by those guys. But that was lost after the way they played in the postseason. Isn't that interesting, Matt, when you stop and think about it? Because people were pointing at Elander and going, well, you know, I mean, they've kind of lost their way. And then you look back at last year and you go, well, you won a series last year in your building. But the performance from the two transfers, I mean, Tennessee's using it in their hype video that Mike Keith voices that they play in. I mean, that moment, they're using that postseason moment in that jam-packed stadium. That is an interesting thing about the whole postseason baseball deal. It kind of makes you forget about your regular season, or it can, if you perform well.
Yeah. It's a postseason sport. Just like basketball, all you got to do is get into the thing. When you're in the SEC, and Tennessee's positioned themselves to do that, and with one more win, either this weekend or even in Hoover, they're for sure in. So yeah, you're kind of playing for seeding, and yeah, once you get into the postseason, everything kind of starts anew, and you have a chance to reset and go on a run, and that's what Vitello's teams were extremely good at, is winning in the postseason. They carried that momentum over.
Yep.
And even last year, just getting out of their own, even though they hosted,
was a great
just
accomplishment.
getting out of that regional was an accomplishment for that team, because they were never good enough to get to Omaha. And they just go out there and get beat twice at Arkansas. It's no shame in losing to a better team.
No.
But yeah, you just got to get to the postseason, and this team's got enough, I think, to be very dangerous in a regional.
And you know what, Matt? I haven't even thought about it till now, but the irony of Tennessee, the Vitello era ending at Arkansas, is pretty damn ironic, isn't it?
Yes.
In a lot of ways. If Matt can smell I'm afraid in a lot more ways than what we think right now. But one other little item here that's left over from, by the way, Jude has a question for you, Matt. Hey, Jude. He says, what about our starter tonight away from home? Can he be trusted? He's a different pitcher at home than he is on the road, and he's afraid he gets hit around tonight. Do you have that concern?
There's always some concern going on the road, especially coming off a career performance like he did last week. He's a very emotional guy, and I do think the home crowd can kind of help you there. But he's playing in the pitcher's park against a lineup that is not great. They don't rely on a lot of home runs. They will steal some bases and do some things like that. But, you're to the point where you expect your Friday night guy to go out and give you a quality start, and anything less than that from Teagan tonight would be a little disappointing.
Yeah, you're in the time of the year now where you got to have it time. Look, it's been fun. You're our horse. This is sort of what we brought you here for.
These are draft games for him.
Yeah, this is
where
important.
He's playing for that first round pick.
Yep.
Last week went a big way towards that.
Yeah.
And what he does the rest of the way will go a long way towards how high in that top 50 he goes in the draft.
I'm extremely curious to see what kind of crowd's there tonight, because it might be one of those deals where you're playing in front of a studio audience. I hope not, but it might be. From the sounds of things, on Oklahoma's campus, their baseball program is kind of, as you heard Mason Young say, it's down their pecking order. And the other part of this is they're playing in this AAA stadium tonight, which is going to be cavernous anyway. I hope they get a good, robust crowd there, and it'll be curious to see, because if Tony's still with us and we're rolling a little more than maybe we would have been with this hiccup, or maybe we would have had the same record. I don't know. But one wonders if there's going to be how many Tennessee fans make the scene tonight and make the scene in next week in Hoover. Matt, do you think we see those numbers drop off in light of the play, or do you think we see some people out there tonight from the Midwest to get an opportunity to see the Vols play?
No, I think you'll have some Tennessee fans there. Absolutely. Yeah, I think you'll have a good contingent. You had a really good crowd there in Arlington at the beginning of the year. Probably won't come close to that, but I think we'll see some.
It'll be interesting to see. One other thing from our last segment I just wanted to kind of point out here, and shout out to Kid Huddy, who's a ball knower. And Kid Huddy, I appreciate that. Look, we've got some great, really knowledgeable people that tune into the show who I highly respect. And then there's Dr. Z DDS, who's a complete windbag. Kid Huddy 7, and Dr. Z, I mean that with all due respect to you, because you don't understand my business at all. And I probably don't understand yours. So how about that? You probably don't want my hands in your mouth, and I sure as hell don't want your hands on my microphone. Kid Huddy said the following. Hey, Tony, to the Philly conversation we had last segment, Owaka did reclassify. He went from the 23 class to the 22 class. Look, there's a lot of water under the bridge. There's a lot of players we deal with. During our conversation with Phil, when he talked about going and scouring in the summer and finding somebody, I thought that's what happened. So I guess there is a play where I'm talking on my hands a lot today. You leave yourself a scholarship here rather than taking this kid from VCU, who, no offense to him, feels like a real reach. He feels like a real reach. And so instead of reaching, Matt, you take that Scully into the summer with the idea of grabbing somebody and reclassing them. What do you make of that, Matt?
Yeah, you can certainly do that. But again, it's a developmental position, so I'm not sure how much that player would be able to help you next year. But I mean, if you can find a guy that can block shots, that can function in Tennessee's defense, you obviously kind of need that. So yeah, you can kind of scour and look whether that's a reclassified kid here or a guy overseas. If you can find one, you can certainly try to get him. That's not a bad thought.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we are. 865-200-5402 is the number. We're wide open for you if you want to jump in. And look, there's been a lot of conversation we've had today as well about the football team and the record and what it's going to look like. We did a kind of a breakout today over on the blog. I want to encourage you to check out because it's really interesting over at tclub.team, TonyBasilio.com, however you want to get there. But tonight's game, I don't know, man. For the first time all year, Matt, I'm feeling it. And I shouldn't be feeling it. Matt does not want to hear that I'm feeling it. But for the first time all year, I'm kind of sort of feeling it.
Well, there goes my confidence in the good matchup this night. Kyle and I have a deal going.
Yeah, Kyle told me that.
He did?
Yeah, Kyle said yesterday on the show, he said, Basilio, we fade you. We've made money. Matt and I have made money fading you. My mom doesn't think it's funny. He said, my mom didn't understand that last week was a bit. She's out on you. She's pissed at you. And that's when Titans Bill in the middle of it asked if Ann Holt watched the Oval. And Kyle just started hee-haw laughing at it. He could not. He just could not have to go back believe.
And listen. I was busy yesterday doing a civic duty, as a former Tennessee coach mentioned once.
He just could not believe for the life of him what the deal was. But $15 a game, great seats. Hey, Matt, what is your sense of Tennessee's new celebration that they're doing? Because personally, I absolutely love it. Share with me your thoughts on the hockey mask and what they're doing with that, kind of carving out their own deal.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I didn't really notice it Tuesday night. I can't see into the dugout, and didn't really pay attention until afterwards. So it's kind of a unique deal. I kind of like it. Do something new. Hockey mask, and they even have a hockey stick, I think, which is kind of. So yeah, do something new. They're starting to finally hit a bunch of home runs, so you can actually break that thing out a couple of times a game. So that's kind of cool. Kind of carve your own niche, do something. Change it up a little bit. No harm in that.
Well, that was Cinco's whole deal. It was like, get away from something that was forged and make something your own. And man, I'm 100% in favor of that. The more I think about that and consider how Sean put it, I think that's well put. Speaking of carving out and carving your own path, my man Brandon over at TMG Pits, ladies and gentlemen, listen in the background. Brandon, where are you right now? Give us your coordinates, brother, where you are, because the TMG Fest is right around the corner. Tell the living listener where you are right now.
So we're in Memphis in May, World Championship of Barbecue. We're cooking up everything that we're bringing back to Knoxville also.
God, the World Super Show of Barbecue. Brandon's representing, because you've got all these followers online, and you're down there representing. Talk to me right now. How many folks are at the World Super Show?
So it's going to be about 60,000 people over the weekend. And obviously we're going for the championship. So we'll see how we do. Well, we're bringing, we're in Live Fire down here. We're in Live Fire. We're in a bunch of sponsors tents, and then we have our own cook team down here. So we're actually cooking up wings right now. And then we have turkey going on in a minute, and then we have whole hog going on. We're doing it all. Whole hog turkeys, live fire turkey. Now, are you smoking that turkey, or are you live firing it? It's all smoked on a TMG pit.
On one of your TMG pits. When you guys showed me that apparatus last week with the hooks on it and how it goes above, that's the live fire portion of it. And then the smoking portion, I understand, man, because your event next week is 1 week from today. You guys are setting that thing up, and then it goes off on May 23rd from 2 to 9. Tickets available at tmgpits.com. Is that the website? Am I got that right?
tmgfest.com.
tmgfest.com. One thing you'll learn about me, Brandon, that Matt Dixon will tell you is I'm always get the details right, man. Isn't that right, Matt? Or not? I'm a detail guy, right, Matt?
Yeah, very detail oriented.
Yeah, because one of your, because I know you ship your stuff overseas, you would have an order like in Latvia, and I would ship it to Cambodia. Okay, if you left it up to me.
Yeah.
But at any rate, what do you put on that turkey today? What do you season a turkey with when you're getting ready to try to win a contest?
We're running Texas style salt and pepper down here right now. And so I don't know if you can hear in the background. I got Santa Claus walking down in the competition. I got Hayes here, my business partner also.
All right.
The whole TMG team is down here. So we're cooking it up.
Put Hayes on the phone. I want to talk to Hayes right now.
Hey, I'm right here, Tony. I'm right here.
Hey, Hayes, how hyped should I be about the TMG Fest next week? How hyped should I be?
I think whatever you are out there, you need to bump it up and double it.
I mean, we are fired up.
Go! All right, I want to know right now, these wings that he's got on the live fire, tell me about these wings. What do we season the wings with?
So right now we got them seasoned with TMG's new line of rubs. We got bark up on there, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and then we got Brandon's famous white sauce that's going on there after we fry them. They're going to be good.
So you guys even present it with your own sauce for the...
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we like showing our sauce off. A new line of rubs we just come out with, we're trying to show them off.
Go on, the rubs! I mean...
Oh, yeah.
All in a conversation. Did we mention if I tell her this? Now say he's talking about bringing the spice. He's giving you pointers. What else is he saying to you? Tell him no comments in the peanut gallery. What are we doing over there? All right, talk to me here, man. So the competition's fierce there. You guys are bringing world-class competition here. This is going to be amazing. Hey, hang right there for me because I want to remind the living listener, tmgfest.com, you check them out. I'm getting ready to turn over to the great William Pattison, but I'm going to stay with my boys down in Memphis here for a second because they're going for the world championship down there. And they're multi-time. They're decorated. These guys I was in their shop. They got trophies all over the place. It looked like my trophy case during my playing days. Maybe not. But I have a couple high school letters. But I guess that's something. The great William Pattison. He's a champion in his own right on the way next. Then we keep it right here.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
All right, it's Overdrive Overtime. I'm back to my boys in Memphis with TMG Pits. The TMG Fest is coming up. Make no mistake about it. Hey, tell me about the scene there and how many people come and go through that thing, because that's what we're trying to do and what you guys are doing in Knoxville next week. This is the first step in the rung for you guys. You have a vision. Talk to me about the vision here.
Yeah, so I mean, we're trying to bring live fire back to Knoxville. So you're going to have 60,000 people come through this event.
Yep.
Obviously, our event won't be as big, but we want to basically bring what's done all across the world in Texas, live fire to East Tennessee. So we're going to be the first ones to do a live fire competition with actual smoker teams coming in. So we're fired up about it. May 23rd, TMG Fest.
Big Dog in West Tennessee said he's going to be down there. He wants to go up and introduce you guys. How does he find you over at the site down in Memphis?
Down here, we're with the Dude Wipes team. It's TMG and Dude Wipes.
Go!
And then we're at a H304, so you can come find us.
So
we'll be here all week.
Here's the thing about you guys. You guys are like followed internationally. Like I was looking on one of your socials, as we say in the trade, and you've got like several 100,000 followers, right? You guys are like a big deal. No offense to you.
We're just some rednecks from East Tennessee. We just got lucky. We got lucky.
I mean, you've got a huge presence in that, though. Yes, and that's
we do. We have a big presence.
And you're trying to bring it. And what you're doing is, because look, we're talking to guys here, and this smoking deal is a guy thing. And for the casual smoker out there listening to me, I want to say something. At the TMG Fest next week, not only are these teams going to be competing, but they're also going to be holding symposiums on how to do this better and how you can become better at the deal. Elaborate on that, because that's part of the ticket price for this thing.
Yeah, so basically we're trying to make it about the attendees. So we want everyone that comes in to talk to the pit masters, to talk to the live fire guys, learn what's going on so they can take it back to their backyard. Yep. So it's more about the person coming in. Obviously, they can get fed. We have drinks there, but we want them to literally learn and talk to the pit masters and demo stuff out so that they can take it back to their backyard and their tailgates and whatever they want to do.
Next Friday, I'm going to be out there with you guys. Matt Dixon's going to be out there. Bino's going to be out there while you're setting up. And then we're going to be playing music next Saturday. I'm very excited about that. But you guys have me pumped today. And here's the thing. These guys are taking a real chance in what they're doing. They're bringing teams in from all over the world. I love cool stuff like this. When I first met these guys, I said, I love you guys because you understand community. And community is what we do here on a daily basis, okay? This is all about community. What you guys do is about community, and elaborate on why people should come out and get involved with what you're doing next week, because it sounds like a whole hell of a lot of fun.
Well, that's just it. I mean, barbecue is all about bringing everyone around. Whether it's your neighbor cooking, bringing the family and friends over, get together. So that's a great thing about barbecue. It brings everyone together. So we want everyone to come out, have a good time, live music, drinks, food. And it's going to be food that people probably haven't had before. Great ribs, great chicken, tomahawk steaks from Live Fire, whole hog on a Live Fire. What's we got going? Pork steaks. Alabama white sauce chicken that is absolutely delicious from a local pitmaster here. So, we want everyone to try everything and learn, take it back to their house, and just have a good time.
All right. Of all the stuff that you guys are cooking, what's your personal favorite that you do? Your personal favorite. It's like choosing kids.
We have barbecue so much. So most people think we would want barbecue.
Right.
So I personally love a great tomahawk, prime rib, or chicken. Just because we have barbecue so much. But the average person probably doesn't have barbecue constantly. So that's why we're bringing back the Knoxville.
It all sounds so great to me. Boys, TMG. Give me the website, because I gave the wrong website out earlier. And Matt's so proud of that.
TMGfest.com.
Yep. Mine's a terrible thing to waste, and I've wasted mine in talk radio for 30 years. But boys, I'm excited to see you guys. We're going to talk next week. TMGfest.com. And tickets are only like, what, $20 for this in advance?
$20 online, 30 at the gate. So get them online.
You want to get them online. It's going to be unbelievable, Andy. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Go for the championship today down in Memphis. Matt, can you imagine how good that smells down there walking around, and how good that's going to smell next week? As this event, may I say, is going to be over, because somebody asked me this, at the Hardin Valley Event Center, May 23rd, Saturday, May 23rd. Tickets on sale, tmgfest.com. Laura goes, how did you miss that, Tony? You've got it right in front of you. I don't know. How did I miss that? I don't know. I don't know. How did I miss that? But 865-200-5402 is the numero dos. And when you know it, Matt, we got calls. So let's go ahead and go to the phones. Without further ado, as we're in extra time, overtime. Matt, if left to your own devices, how much could you eat at an event like that, where the people walking around are going to be the judges and are going to get a vote next week, and they're bringing in teams from all over the country next week? They're bringing in teams from several states. They're going to have a ribs and chicken wings category smoking competition. Sexy Lance, he just texted me and said, that sounds crazy. Hey, Lance, they're bringing in teams from California, from Texas, from the Carolinas, preparing this food their own way, which is kind of cool, kind of fun. And how much could you eat, Matt, at an event like that if I turned you loose?
A whole lot of wings and a whole lot of ribs, and probably some pulled pork.
Oh,
yeah, no telling.
Oh. Let's go back to our phones. I'll tell you what, I've tried these guys. They gave us some rubs last week, and we cooked with a couple of their rubs. These cats know what they're doing. These TMG cats, these cats know, and they ship their smokers that they build there. I mean, they do the machine shop work there. They do all of it there. They build these things from spec there. And these things are like several $1,000s, and they ship them all over the world. I mean, it's impressive what these guys are doing at their shop, which is right near my friends from Carnes Motor Company, Rob and Brian. It's amazing what these guys do. And they're community guys, and they wanted to do this, and hey, jump in the middle of this and start something. And they're going to build a world-class event here in Knoxville. TMG Fest, it's called. Saturday, May 23rd, over at the Hardin Valley Event Center. tmgfest.com. I'll go back to the phones. 865-200-5402. By the way, Sexy Lancey says the Pistons are winning their series in 7 games. Hey, Lance, Steve Perry said it one time. They wrote to him and Jonathan Cain, "Don't stop believing, brother." But there's another song from the 70s that comes to mind from a guy named Kenny Nolan that goes, "I like dreaming, 'cause dreaming can da-na-na. I like holding you. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na." Let's go to our phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
What do you say, Tony? What do you say, Matt?
There he is.
Matt, how disgraceful is it that the Kentucky Wildcats canceled their midweek game?
Wow.
To preserve their disgraceful RPI. That crazy Italian coach.
Great thing you pointed out. That's disgrace. You know, they're not alone. A couple teams have done that. How do they let them get away with that in baseball? Just say, "I'm not going to play." How do you do that?
Well, the NCAA did send out a meaningless letter saying that they were watching them, and I think they threatened some type of punitive damages. But here's what I think. I think for every game that you cancel, it's a 5-point dockage on your RPI. So you lose 5 points automatically. The only one that I think legit was Boston College, and hear me out. I think you're only allowed to schedule, I forget how many, 59 games maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, NCAA has a cap on it. And due to the weather issues that Boston College always faces, they overschedule because they figure they're going to get several snowed out games. But other than Boston College, the rest of the clowns that canceled midweek games should be penalized, and particularly the Wildcats, because they manipulate that RPI as best they can, and that's pretty disgraceful.
Oh, that's their whole game. But, Matt, you can't at the end of the year then go, "Well, we're not going to honor our contract," can you? They're going to let them get away with that?
Yeah, this is the second year in a row they've canceled their game with Northern Kentucky.
That's bullshit, man.
At the end of the year, they did it last year as well.
That's bullshit
because they get kind of game the RPI. They're blaming it on travel and being tired and
what?
Just an excuse. They do way too many of the softball dugout cheers to be tired to play a midweek game.
And now, if you want to feign like a sickness, Taylor, and not at least make it look, like we've got a flu bug gone through our program, whatever it is, and then to make it look good for TV, you have like half of your starting lineup out this weekend. I mean, we'd all toast to that, knowing what they're doing, but just to like cancel and get out of a series, that's a disgrace, or a game. That's kind of a disgrace. You imagine if they did that here, how much I would overblow that on the air, Taylor?
Tony, you've never been known to exaggerate or do a heel turn, so I don't think you would do that. That's not like you.
I would rip them. That Mingione guy already gives a bad name to Italians, though. He's up with him and that Rossini lady.
Tony, do you think Danny White's going to hang a banner midweek 14-0 national champions?
Only if he could get it donated by somebody.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like that brick thing he's doing over there at the NED, the Neyland Entertainment District.
Interesting. Hey, what is the brick thing? What is the? Oh, you can buy a brick. That's right.
Yeah, for $500 you can buy a commemorative brick.
Are you in or out on that,
Tony? I'm so out on that.
Why don't you buy one with my name on it? I want my name on that thing. Why don't you buy one with my name on it? Think they would allow that?
Start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what's ironic? Trent Greimlinger is only in the lineup because Stone Lawless was injured. Without that devastating injury to Stone Lawless, he probably is the toughest man. He's got the toughest name in baseball and maybe the toughest man. Came back 3 weeks after over-the-bone fracture, surgery, and knows he's catching an SEC game. But I find that kind of ironic because that kid would be National Freshman of the Year and maybe a true blue All-American if he had enough at bats.
It's incredible, Matt. This guy's a revelation. He is a stone cold hitter of the baseball, Dixon, this guy. Stone cold.
Yeah, uses all fields, has unbelievable power. Works, counts, will walks just as much as he strikes out. No, he's been incredible. He finally qualifies for like some of these, categories like stats for like leaders in the league and nationally. I think he finally just qualified for them here the last few games. So yeah, he's been incredible and he's been a great addition. And like Taylor said, he got inserted into the lineup and maybe he would have found his way there eventually anyway. But yeah, he's been outstanding and teams have a book on him now and he's still just pounding the ball.
Hey T, I hear his little brother is a hell of a prospect too.
Tony, well, he'll never step foot on campus unless he's visiting his older brother, who, by the way, will be gone next year. I'm sure we better empty the NIL to retain him.
So you don't think
his little brother's he's a top 15 pick, Tony. He's 17 years old and a senior in high school. He did not reclassify to go to college. He reclassified before the MLB collective bargaining, whatever they're going to do, so he can get paid.
Bryce Harper,
he won't be on campus.
Like when Bryce Harper did his little gimmick.
Bryce Harper comes and trains, at least when Vitello was here at Lindsey Nelson in the offseason. Last thing, Reese Chapman, there should be some award for that guy. I tell you what, he may be one of the all-time best teammates, all-time best people off the field. To see him hit a grand slam and a 2-run home run in his last big SEC game at Lindsey couldn't be more fitting. That guy is an absolute stud, and what a great senior year he's had. Tony, they're going to take 2 out of 3 at that fake minor league ballpark, Bricktown in OKC.
Hey, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something before you do your pivot. I want to pick both you guys' brains. They're saying it's going to be extremely, extremely windy there. One of our posters just said 25, 35 mile per hour winds. Who does that favor, guys? In
out or in, game? Tony? Blowing out or in?
Are they blowing out or in? Whoever put that up there for me. Are they blowing? Is the wind blowing out or in? Blowing out or in? What you got?
If it's blown out, it helps Tennessee. If it's blown in, it helps Oklahoma.
South winds, Taylor. South winds, according to Brent CUV.
I have no idea how Bricktown's set up, so that's not helpful. But Tony,
out
here's
the
the
left
deal.
field. Out the left field. Technoval says they say blowing out.
Okay, it's going to be a launching pad. Tennessee's going to probably hit about 5-6.
Go! Get your goalie mask ready and your hockey stick.
You got to love Ross Kivett. Not only does he bring the hockey stick, he also brings the defense. Best defense in all of college baseball. Who would have thought it, Tony?
Taylor, where did they find the goalie mask? Do you know?
Ross Kivett brought it. He's a big hockey fan. He brought that paraphernalia, my friend.
Damn it, that's so next level. Because the mask they're using is one of those 1970s. He must have grown up playing.
Like Freddie.
Yeah, it's awesome looking. It's like Bernie Perrant, basically. It's look him up, kids. That popped me when I saw that. And when you're our age, it's hard to pop us because you've almost seen everything. But that was so bizarre. And the looks on the kids' faces in the dugout, because they didn't know it was coming, was the most. The kids are all like, what in the hell is that? It was
next
so
level.
Great, man.
Tony,
so
I'm
great.
going to go on record as predicting Levi Clark's going to hit one about 465 feet. It's going to be so next level. Tony, you're the dean for a reason. GBO.
And Taylor, you guys, Taylor's doing a great job on Wednesdays. Of course, Matt's coverage all year is superior. And then there's Heflin. I don't know what his role in all this is, but what do you make of this Heflin guy, Matt? He sounds half asleep on Sundays. Do we retain him or do we recruit over him? What do you think we ought to do with Heflin, Matt?
Season's still going on. Postseason sport. You got to see how he performs in the postseason.
I mean, if it's anything like, this regular season, I'm going to have to agree with Julie Herman's roast beef here, and I don't do that very much. First of all, I don't make it a habit of, getting into other people's roast beef. But Julie Herman's roast beef says playoff hockey might be the greatest sport there is. I know we're not in a hockey market. I'm not here to shove anything down your throat. But if you want to watch something tonight, there's a game. If our game gets like rain delayed, and you never know what's going to happen when you play in the Southwest with the weather, you just don't. If you get a chance to watch that Buffalo Sabres Montreal Canadiens series, first of all, Sabre fans are having these Montreal people come over because Buffalo, it's like an hour or so from upstate New York. It's very close. And those Montreal fans are so hungry. And Buffalo's got such a great young team, and they haven't done anything for like 20 years. And I am so rooting for Buffalo, which probably puts the kibosh on them. I love that series. First of all, it looks beautiful together on the ice. It's two great teams. It's a contrast of styles. Montreal's really super fast. Buffalo's really big and strong. If Buffalo gets by this round, Buffalo and Carolina is going to be a damn brawl for it all on the ice. Two relentless hockey teams. Absolutely relentless teams. Relentless. Technoval is saying that VCU transfer Christian Fermin commits to Tennessee. He tells on 3. There you go. Maybe his teammates sold him in there. You would think they would have brought him in yesterday and worked him out, and maybe they liked what they saw. They had to have liked what they saw. Either that, Matt, or they are totally desperate, yes? Just to get a body in there? But he's
probably a little bit of both, yeah.
But he's a 6'10" guy.
Take him just to take him, but you need, it's a spot that you need a guy at, and you have a chance to get one here.
And I was poking around on him last night with one of my basketball guys, and he said, Tony, 6'10" guys don't grow on trees, and we're getting late in the process. But his profile does not look like somebody, and watch him be one of their better players. Watch him end up being one of their better players. You know what I mean? You just never know. And that's a developmental position. And he'll be going into his third season in college basketball. They had to have seen something in him they liked. I still think there's a chance that they do a little maneuvering and they add another player. So I like when Taylor goes, where's the wind blowing, Matt? And I have no idea. I'm just going 25 to 3. He goes, where's the wind blowing, Tony? And I'm going, well, that would be a good thing to know, wouldn't it, Taylor? Since I'm in here all like, goofy, punch drunk, doing whatever it is I'm doing, firing you up, focusing you, and preparing you. But let's go to the phones. Jacob Dorman says, I just saw a clip of Akpar in a scrimmage NBA draft stuff, blocking some guy twice. Hey, this Akpar guy at the end of the year was a damn elite player. And I'm here to tell you, he's going to make somebody's NBA program. I'm going to call that shot right now. Now, I don't know if he's going to make somebody's roster next year, but when I say program, he could get on a 2-way deal. I think that guy eventually plays in the Lee, Matt. He plays in the Lee.
I agree. Yeah, when you can block shots the way he can, his athleticism, the way he can recover, the way he can defend out to the perimeter. When you can find guys like that, you take them and you try to find some offense for them, try to coach some offense into their game. Yeah, Jemai Mashack carved out a role with the Grizzlies this year.
Yep.
I think Akpara might get drafted. I think.
Second round.
That will help him.
Yep.
On a 2-way, or he'll certainly play in the NBA at some point.
I hope the Sixers get him because they got some damn stiffs. They got that Janai Broom guy from Auburn. That guy's a stiff, man. That guy's got the body of a 50-year-old. No offense to 50-year-olds out there listening to me. They're still out there playing a Lancey. They're still out there reliving their glory days, sexy Lancey. Unbelievable, Andy. Hey, Matt, picture this. Tennessee's left fielder. A high can of corn hit at him in a 35-mile-an-hour wind, Matt.
Yeah, that's an adventure.
What's your prediction? What's your prediction? He's liable to get hit in the head by it. That poor kid the other night, he's a total adventure out there. He makes routine plays.
Yeah.
The jumps on ball.
Yes. They've hit him really well for much of this year, but every now and then there's one you can't hide from, and it becomes an adventure. Yes.
I mean, he is in that Texas series Sunday. There was a ball hit at him that was kind of a routine play, and he's catching. He's like catching it on his heels or on his shoe top, and you're kid. Somebody asked me. They said, "Okay, what did you letter in?" And they had a couple funny things. Okay, did you letter in home economics? Somebody asked. For your information, I lettered in wrestling, and I lettered in baseball. I wrestled, and I played baseball. And the wrestling part of it, that is you talk about, let me tell you something. These people that you watch that wrestle in college, the few sports that have that, those people are animals. These people that wrestle in high school, like Billy Jarvis' son, Brendan, I got unbelievable amounts of respect for those people. Those are people that the wrestlers are people you do not want to mess with. You just don't want to mess with wrestlers. And then when I think about the wrestlers, and I'm talking about high school wrestling or collegiate wrestling, the people in life you really don't want to mess with are the UFC fighters. That's a good, really, really good way to get yourself hurt, playing around with a UFC fighter. If you told me that a group of UFC fighters went into a room with a group of offensive linemen, those offensive linemen are fixing to wear an ass whipping. I don't know if you've ever watched UFC, but trust me when I tell you this, those are people, that wrestling stuff, I learned so much as a kid about leverage and the importance of getting somebody on the ground. Like if I got somebody on the ground, even at my age right now, I could still probably hold them down. That wrestling stuff it's really interesting because you learn how not to get too high. It's a lot like tackling in football because if you get high, you're going to get run over. You got to get on the ground. But let's go to the phones. Yeah, Salty Ball's right. If the NFL, if a group full of NFL offensive linemen went into a room with a bunch of UFC people, and I'm talking about the biggest and baddest guys in that deal, the biggest and baddest, they would come out of there looking like they fell on some helmets. Salty Ball's right. But I'm going to tell you right now, high school wrestling, that shit is hard. And in our day, it was crazy because they would put those wetsuits. I don't think they do this anymore. They're not allowed to do this. But, Matt, you would have a guy in a rubber suit the night of a match, and you would go in there, and they would turn the temperature up to God knows what. He would put a rubber suit on, and the whole team would lay on top of him. And I am not kidding, for him to make weight. And then he would walk out there on the scale, like stumble out there, make his weight, and then go get something to eat for the match. But let's go back to the phones. And we'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. And by the way, I'm not much of an athlete. Those of you wondering, I can't move. I'm a paisan. I can talk about it. I can't move. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hi, Tony. This is Hey Jude.
Hey, Jude. Welcome in.
Hey, first of all, I just want to start off by saying thanks again for the tickets last Friday night. My friends and I had an absolute blast. That was one of the best environments I've seen Lindsey Nelson in a long time. It was really cool to see that place, what it was designed to be doing. I hate more of the students can't be closer to experience that, but glad I was able to be right in the hunt and in the mix there.
Matt pointed that out. And right on. Hey, Matt, these kids deserve to see him. Kids like Hey Jude deserve to see Lindsey Nelson fully alive, Matt.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, everybody that's been a part of being over there the last 5 years that get a new stadium, just jam people in there and have those fun moments. That was really cool Friday night, yeah. Coons got that strikeout to get out of that jam in the 7th was pretty fun.
What was Lindsey Nelson like at that time period when you guys were reeling, rocking, and rolling? What was it like for you, Jude?
It was small. I mean, from what are you talking about, Friday night or just in a couple years ago?
No, I'm talking about Friday night. I'm talking about seeing.
It was fantastic, man.
And as it looked like our starter was gaining steam, it had to be an electric atmosphere in there.
And I think as you mentioned earlier this week and on the show, that when Elander walked out there and kept him in, that was like some crazy WWE moment of someone coming out of nowhere or something. It was really, that was a cool moment. And then of course that crowd pop when he got that strikeout was just really fun. One of the more fun, crowd pops we've had in that stadium in a long time.
My sense is that Texas brought out a postseason type atmosphere in that place. And we've been missing that because SEC series invariably, that's what one of the things Chris Burke used to tell me about the sport before I caught on to it was that when you get in these series this year, the intensity gets ratcheted up and it starts to feel like you're watching a postseason event. That's exactly what that felt like Friday night to me, and I wasn't in the stadium. I stayed away for fear of reprisal after my conduct last week on the air. I didn't want to face the music.
Well, I enjoyed the bit, Tony, so I thought it was
Jude.
pretty fun.
Jude knew.
I enjoyed the last week. It's up there with the Dave trial you guys had a couple months ago. I thought it was a great bit.
The Dave trial. Oh, we did put Dave on trial, didn't we?
Yeah, that was fun. But and also just like I also wanted to mention with the hockey match, you guys kind of hit on it earlier. I forget, and maybe Brian or Matt can remind me. If my memory serves me correctly, last year someone pulled out the Drew Gilbert second base celebration. That almost felt like a turning point for last year's team as far as getting some momentum. And I'm hoping that this year's team, this hockey mask, the Texas series are going to get some swagger back.
Yes.
And really play like the bad boys that they've been in the past and carry it into this weekend as well.
Matt, what do you think? I think stuff like that can really catch on. And I think a loose baseball team plays better. I think if you're loose in any sport, you play better when you have your own thing going.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the celebrations and the antics kind of help you do that. You got to have stuff to be excited about to do that. And I do think this team, the first 2/3 of the season were maybe pressing and trying a little too hard. And I think the coach was the same way. And it reflected on the field. They just played way too tight in big moments. And that was one of Vitello's best strengths was his team's always played loose and free regardless of the moment. And they came through in the clutch so often. So, yeah, I think it might have been Gavin Keelan that did that last year.
Very good.
Which is interesting. But it's a really good point by Jude. I kind of like it.
How do you remember that, Matt? Your memory is just – it's scary.
I knew he's got a steel trap up there.
Dude. How do you remember that? I walk around in a fog, Jude.
And if I can look ahead to this weekend, Tony, I'm very excited to hear about this win. Some of my favorite moments have been coming in late night from a Tennessee regional and throwing on Oklahoma State's regionals like at midnight and just seeing it be 25-30 with 40-mile-an-hour winds blowing out of that place. So I'm excited to see if the team can get a hold of a few balls. And kind of like I mentioned in the chat earlier, and I was actually talking about the Oklahoma pitcher on Friday night. I just did some box score watching, and it looks like on Friday nights the opposing teams have gotten into double digits pretty regularly against Oklahoma. So I'm not sure if that's getting into the bullpen or if that's a starter, but I think we could really jump out on this guy, especially if the wind's blowing out.
And Matt's point is the guy's a fastball pitcher, sinker, That's the type of pitcher Tennessee feast on. We know down through the years, the guys we struggle with are more the soft tossing, sort of cagey guys. Matt picks the balls to click tonight. How many home runs tonight, Matt? Taylor said 4 or 5. How many you got, Matt?
Yeah, I'd set the number at 3.5.
Yep.
So yeah, could have a lot of fun tonight.
Yep.
And another thing, Tony, I saw on the Vol social media page, which, by the way, had a great picture of WLN from Friday night.
Awesome.
It's absolutely electric.
Joe, I love whoever's doing that.
I hate I couldn't get out there.
Yes. Yes.
They wouldn't let me pass the checkpoint. But that's another story. But I was looking, and it looks like they've got tarps over about half the stadium, kind of like what USC has done with their football stadium. So I don't really think it's going to be that rowdy of a crowd. And I also hopped on Ticketmaster, and there are loads of seats sitting available for face value. So I don't know if that place is going to be rocking like we hoped it would.
No, it's going to be a studio audience, I think. It's a shame.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think, and look, and Tony's told me in the past, it's hard to play in front of those crowds. They loved when they got really hot and they would go into an opposing environment and everybody was there to hate them. It's the opposite of what you would think. Those guys fed on that and played pretty well on the road. Last year's team did that. Fed on it. So a couple people said, what did you play in baseball? I played center field, played outfield. I wasn't very good. I could hit. I had pretty good hand-eye coordination. I could hit a baseball. I don't know how I could hit a baseball, but I could hit a baseball. See it and hit it. But that's all I could do. I couldn't move. But I guess I got decent shoulders. I don't know. I could hit a baseball, see it and hit it. I bet I could still hit a baseball. No, I bet I couldn't. I bet I'd get myself killed, actually, and throw my back out. Also, Chris Justice said, I bet Tony's selling himself short. I bet he was a decent athlete. No way you love sports like he does and didn't enjoy playing. Listen, Chris, as a kid, I grew up the youngest of 6, and I grew up getting hazed and beaten on, playing in a neighborhood full of kids my age. We played from sun up to sundown, and then at nighttime we would play like kick the can or whatever the games of the day were. Like we would stay out all hours of the day and night and play. And we would play wiffle ball. I mean, all hours of the day. We'd play hardball, wiffle ball, which, hardball is baseball played by kids where you make your own bases up in a big field. I remember one year as a kid getting poison ivy on literally every orifice of my body. Had to go get shots for a week. I did it twice. Because the ball, when you would swing and miss, you would have to go and fetch the ball. And just a couple times, I was so allergic to poison ivy that I would have to go back in the woods and get the ball. Just from a couple of exposures, I would get it all over me. Picture that. I'm highly allergic to it.
That taught you to be a contact hitter for sure.
Well, there you go. I'm highly allergic to it. Highly allergic to poison ivy. And one year, Laura and I, we got our first house, and there were vines out back, and I thought they were dead, these poison ivy vines, and I grabbed them with my bare hand, and I did not realize what I was doing. I didn't realize that the oil on the vines stayed there, and so the next day I got up, and I had poison ivy all in between my fingers, all over my arms, it went all over me. And then it spread. And I remember we traveled and I got shots. It was so nasty. If you're eating, turn the volume down for a second. One year, I got poison ivy so bad on my forearm that I was running in my neighborhood and I fell. This is a true story. This is what it's like when you grow up with older brothers and sisters. And I ripped my arm wide open on the poison ivy part of my arm. There was poison. There was that juice everywhere from the poison ivy. You know what I'm talking about, Matt? You ever gotten poison ivy?
Yeah, but not recently. But
Okay,
yeah,
as a kid, right? So I ripped it wide open, and I ran home, and I was like going to show my mom. Oh, look, my brother takes me into the bathroom, puts me over the sink, grabs a bottle of alcohol, and says, "Close your eyes." Close your eyes. And I hold my elbow out, and he pours it right on top of that. It hurt. It made my teeth rattle. It hurt so bad. You know what it did to the poison ivy? It dried it right up. Anyway, back to the phones we go. Don't touch vines. That was something I knew. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not, but if you touch those vines, even though they look dead, poison ivy vines, you can still get that stuff from them. They've got oil on them. At any rate, this is what people come to the show for, not to hear bad sports takes. Hi, you're on the air. Welcome in.
How my friends compatriots are doing today?
There he is, my man. You just got some love from our previous caller.
I love Hey Jude. I can't wait to meet him. If he's in school next year, I've got something I would hope he might go with me to. I watched the replay of our gals win that rowing championship, Tony. I watched every race. I was sitting in my chair knowing it's a replay, though, cheering like mad. And they had a crowd, and they had the mascot Smokey out there, the one in the costume. And I thought, I tell you what, if Hey Jude's a student, me and him are going to go out there with that state flag next year, be at the finish line. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, they played out in Oak Ridge, right? Right, WLN?
Yeah, it was at Oak Ridge. There was a great crowd. And,
home water advantage, and they certainly beat Texas in that too.
And I found out the person that Tony was referring to the other day that had the megaphone, now they have a headset, and I guess all the girls have earpieces. It is pronounced coxswain. It's spelled coxswain, like the caller said, but that's not how they pronounce it. It's called a coxswain. They said it about 100 times. I thought that's what it
was. I said coxmen the other day, but it's actually coxswain, right?
Yeah, and
but
it's spelled with Swain, but that you don't pronounce it that way,
right?
So
it'd be like calling Jason Swain Jason Sin. Jason Sin.
Who?
It'd be like calling Jason Swain Jason Sin.
Oh yeah,
it's Coxman, right? What? How do you say it?
No, coxswain, just like
coxswain.
Coxin.
Coxswain.
That's how they were pronouncing it, and in a four gal boat, she lays down. It's at the front of the boat, lays down almost at water level.
Oh!
But in the 8 gal boat, she's sitting at the back yelling at them. But they got a headset on, like what you're wearing, like at a remote.
There's a lot of what's the term here? Science that's involved in that. When you watch those boats at a very high level, WLN, they when I was a kid, they have a thing in Philly called the Datville Regatta, and they come from all over the world, and the colleges go up there as well. And it is really, really cool. I'm glad you got to see that because the boats are almost out of the water. They're moving so fast. They're like way up
it's
here,
unbelievable.
Man. It's
and
amazing.
The coordination they have, and it was always us in Texas, first and second place until that last race, and Oklahoma and Alabama were usually pretty far back.
WLN, shout out our coxswain. Who was our coxswain?
I did not write that down, but she's a pretty small girl. A lot of the girls are around 6 foot tall, but the coxswain's very small.
Do you know how long that the SEC's done rowing? Because when I was in school, Tennessee's rowing team was, I think, in like the Big 12 or Conference USA.
We were in Conference USA and the Big 12 at one time, and it wasn't really taken seriously. But now that we've got 4 SEC teams doing it, it's we're going to be competing for the national title here. Texas was undefeated. They were like the Germans in 1936. If you've seen that movie, Boys in the Boat.
Yes.
They were supposed to be unbeatable, and we beat them. And our girls celebrated. It was just great to watch.
They're telling me that coxswains, they're, however you say that, they tell me that they're always kind of diminutive, W. Lynn. That's what I'm being led to believe.
Yeah, they're not. You talk about short.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, they're not wee people or whatever the proper term is, but yeah, they're small. Yeah, they're small.
Uh-huh.
But Tony, I was thinking about something this game in Oklahoma City. I got my Rand McNally Road Atlas out, and Dallas has one of the largest Tennessee alumni associations, in the country.
Is that in Rand McNally?
And no, that's not. But I was just looking for, like, taking my old-fashioned ruler out and measuring from Dallas to Oklahoma City. It's about a 2.5-hour drive. We might have some Tennessee fans come up from Dallas.
Oh, I think Mark in Dallas will be there. Mark in Dallas is, hey, Mark, shout out to you. You might be on your way there. You deserve some love anyway. That cat's a sicko. I bet he's there tonight, Matt.
Need to go.
I bet he's there tonight, Matt. What do you got? What do you say? Mark in Dallas, Matt.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe the next two, since it's a Thursday, it's kind of the weird early start. But I bet he's at least 2 of the 3 games.
Hey, W. Lynn, these guys in here all think they're funny, man.
What are they saying now?
I mean, they're taking your term that you've introduced us to here, and they're debasing it, and they're making little 9-year-old jokes. You can imagine.
Oh, I know. All you got to do is watch one of these races and listen to the commentators. That's what I did.
We're sportsmen. We're sportsmen, and we love sports. I'll fall in love with any sport except WNBA. I'll watch anything you put on my TV and enjoy except WNBA. I mean, and if Caitlin Clark's playing there, I can watch that.
I will too if she's playing.
Yep.
Yeah. Tony, I got another idea for that idea you had about the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Yes.
For Danny World or Danny Land.
Yes.
I could wear the coonskin hat. We could get a group of the Tony Basilio family, have the state flag.
Yes.
And what we ought to have on poster boards are pictures of the great institutions that used to be on the strip. Copper Cellar.
Idea.
Roman Room.
Great idea.
Cumberland Tap,
Great idea.
Show them the entertainment center that we had.
Oh, the sketties at the Roman Room was so good. And the pizza.
Stefano.
Go! Rick Coleman, shout out.
Just storm down there for the big ribbon cutting ceremony with those poster boards and the state flag.
I'm so in favor of it, W. Lynn.
I'm sure Danny'd be happy to see you.
Hey, W. Lynn, a great idea is to have a GoFundMe account. And we buy a brick with the Tony Basilio show name on it. Would they put it out there, Matt, or would they put it on like the inside of what am I saying here, Matt? Of like a urinal? Where would my brick go, Matt? Brick toilet? Sort of like Kentucky.
Probably in the bottom of the river with the goalpost.
Oh. What are they selling bricks for, Tony?
$500. $500 a brick.
For what?
You get your name on a brick over there in that plaza, apparently.
For the new entertainment center.
Yes.
God grief. I can't believe that.
It's better than that, but I can't.
Tony, they would. Matt's right. They'd put all of our bricks in a big basket and just throw it off the deck of Calhoun's, I guess.
Coxswain, W. Lynn, one more time is pronounced.
Coxon.
Thank you, W. Lynn. Good talking to you. And somebody, well, I'm going to leave it alone, probably. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. Bino, you're a simpleton. Quit smiling. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hello, Tony.
All right, stay right there. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Bobby.
Hey, welcome in.
I'll try to set up a good one.
Set
for
up
Bill.
Billy. Yeah, set up Billy.
I'm squeezed between two legends today. I don't even know how I feel about that. I love it.
Squeezed between two legends, feeling like a fool.
There it is. I actually have a question for Matt. If he's still there,
he's right here.
Okay, Matt. If you got to choose what regional, let's assume we're going to be a 2. Let's go 2-1 this weekend or something, and we're still going to be a 2, but we're definitely going to move up that 2 line. Where would you choose to go?
If I'm not sure Coastal's going to be a host after
they're not
after losing last weekend, maybe. Kansas or West Virginia, maybe.
I want Kansas. West Virginia would be really fun, guys.
The Maui Ahuna Bowl.
Half the hosts are SEC teams, so you can already eliminate
Maui
most of
Ahuna.
them.
I forgot.
And you don't want to go to Georgia Tech.
They hammer baseballs, right, Matt? We don't want to do that.
Yeah, they're the second best team in the country.
Yeah, I think they hammer baseballs.
Is it like UCLA power gap, Georgia Tech super power gap, everybody else, Matt? Is that? I mean, that's what I see when I watch those two teams play. I think
Georgia Tech and UCLA are close, and UCLA's not been playing very well the last probably 3 weeks. I think Georgia Tech's probably a better team like right now, but I think there's a big gap after those two.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty phenomenal. If Texas or Auburn is the third best team in the country according to the polls and the RPI, that's a far cry from it, because I don't think we're beating UCLA or Georgia Tech, but I think we can beat any other 1 seed. I don't know. It's very interesting. If we hit the baseball the way we have been, we could sustain. Tony's a big proponent of our bullpen, right? Tony, you think our bullpen's
I love them. They're
a bunch of major leaguers.
Oh, they're bull, all right. That's a bullshit pen, is what that is. Those guys are awful. No offense to them.
They are not good. But if you score 10 runs a game, at least it gives you a chance, and I think that's what we're going to have to do.
You got to do what you did Saturday night. You got to shove tonight, and then tomorrow night you got to hit the baseball.
If we end up in getting to 16, guys, is there any chance we host? And when I say that, let me caveat.
You mean 16 wins?
16 or 17?
Sweet.
Yes, sir. In the SEC. Oh, sweet. Sure, why not?
Berkey's got us hosting a super with 16.
No, are you serious? Are you joking?
Chris
I must
Burke,
have missed that.
Biggest sheep alive. He had a sweep in Kentucky. He had us winning like 19 games, winning 9 straight, Matt, didn't he? That damn sheep, man.
I mean, I think that
with it. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
You swept Oklahoma,
right?
I mean, you at least give that possibility, but I think there's too many SEC teams ahead of you to jump.
Right.
And they're not going to give the SEC like 10 or 11 host sites.
Yes.
For regional,
and they have it for 9 right now.
This team would have to sweep Oklahoma to do that, and I just don't think that's very likely.
Yeah, I don't think so either, especially with Landon Mack probably not pitching. I'm for them saving him, especially if we at least get 1 win to make sure we're in the tournament. But what if we mess around and go 4-2 on our next 6? Let's say we go 2-1 this weekend and 2-1 in the SEC tournament. Now you're at like 17 SEC wins, and I know Kendall Rogers said on this very show, right, Tony, that they don't really count against you. Like losses in the SEC tournament don't count against you, but wins count for you.
That's right.
Oh, no. I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you have a great weekend, guys.
Hey, listen. I want this team to play well this weekend and create some interest going into the postseason. And positive interest. I'm speaking as somebody does this for a living.
I don't know how this team wins 2 games in Hoover with this bullpen.
David Ackworth
said, you're not going to pitch these guys on short rest in Hoover, I wouldn't think.
David Ackworth said, just stop walking batters and the bullpen is instantly better. That's like telling me, Dave, to stay on topic, finish a thought.
Get the details right.
Get the details correct. Other than that, I mean, I'm right there. I am like an ADHD in HDTV wreck, and they suck. That's a terrible bullpen. It's poorly constructed. Nobody throws the ball exceedingly hard. They lack confidence. They've been poorly coached, obviously, this year. No offense to whoever the responsibility that is. I mean, they're just not very good. But we'll go back to our phones. I mean, Matt, that is an accurate description of them. That's when they go to that pen, you're just thinking to yourself, just give up a run. That's what I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, you need all the insurance runs you can get when you go to the bullpen in league play.
It is what it is. Even tonight's guy, tonight, he did a nice job closing the door and only giving up a run. And I guess, am I wrong, Matt? Friday night, did the tying run? What was the final count against Texas on Friday?
Oh, it's 5-1. You get, I think Arvidsson gave up
a homer.
A solo home run, but it was 5-1. It was 3-0, and then you
that's right. You tacked on
2 in the 7th.
That's right.
Which were big.
And by the way, that's right. Because
if you only led by 3 going into the bullpen, then much higher leverages at bats, and you never know what can happen.
I'll take Arvidsson giving up a home run all day, every day. Just one run tonight in closing. If that's all you give up, I'll make that deal with you right now. Yeah, Matt's got a good point. This team's got a chance to get a little hot here, a little warm anyway. But man, that bullpen, like Sunday or the Saturday game, for instance, and we'll be on Saturday after the game. I mean, you just have to be honest about it. That'd be a major upset if you can win that game without Mac pitching. And he's questionable right now. And if we're going to be honest about it, probably not going to pitch. Yeah, like Basilio's beak said, but you can't take yourself too seriously when you're reading a thing that says Basilio's beak. Titans Bill, what do you think that I've got a commentator out there named Basilio's beak making fun of the size of my proboscis, Titans Bill?
I don't know what to think, my good friend.
Am I not your good Christian friend, or did I lose that distinction because I flushed you? Because I flushed you yesterday. I flushed you because you attacked the sponsor on here, and I flushed you. And by the way, I'll do it again. 1st and 10, I will do it again.
I'm not going to.
That's my lifeblood. Hey, that's my lifeblood, you punk and clown.
All right, Tony, I am sorry for flushing your sponsor.
Yes. Hey, by the way, who's better with the clock, Heupel or Tony? Basilio's beak wants to know. Heupel is. Are you kidding? If I had his job, I would have his job for about 3 seconds. I couldn't do that. I'll make you laugh, though, and I'll make you think every once in a while, and I've got a joyous kind of thing that we do here, but shit. The details? I'm on there with the sponsor, TMG Fest, and I give the site out, and he goes, it's tmgfest.com. Did you like that, Matt? He's like, you're looking at it, Basilio. And I was looking at it.
Sponsors know what they're getting into when they sign up.
Laura texted me, and she goes, are you looking at it? I said, yeah, I'm looking at it. She goes, what are you doing? I said, I don't know.
Tony, I'll
yes,
tell you
Billy.
what, you did something there that reminded me of me when Jesse was very young. I would sing a song, and I would say, did you like that, Jess? And Jesse would respond, no. That was Jesse.
Wow. And now look at him.
Back when he was around 8 or 9.
The guy now is a veritable Dan Blather of Chattanooga. It's amazing.
Yes.
And I would like for you to sing a song that you sung to Jesse, or sing us a song right now.
Okay. Here's one I'll sing. Mostly he would be downstairs in the caveman, of course, playing with his laptop, and I would sing to him, Jesse, it's time for you to go to school. Jesse, oh Jesse, you need to learn the golden. I'd add a little bluegrass to it, Tony, because I know you like bluegrass.
If you're going to sing bluegrass, you got to get like, Jesse. You got to get up there in your nasal passage like a Dwight Yoakam. I saw him singing about Bakersfield and Bakersfield. Every once in a while, we're playing with Davey Boy Bivens, and he'll do that thing where he'll go and get up in his nose. It's incredible. I love those guys that do that, man.
I think the only type of bluegrass I like is gospel.
Let me ask this feller here. To our next call, do you like Titans Bill singing? Our next caller?
Hey, what the hell is going on, man?
Bill, sing that song again to this caller. Go ahead. He wants to hear you sing. Sing that song about, what was it? That thing from the 60s you sung at one time, Bill?
Okay.
It goes,
all right.
What was that song? When you were making like Indian noises? It was some girl's name.
It's like Ruby, honey, are you mad at you? Well, it was more like,
it was some name. It was some girl's name. It was a female's name, Bill. Do it. Come on. You can do it.
Some female.
Delilah.
Oh, Andrea.
Yeah, do it. Here we go. You're going to love this. Now, hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, Nashville Lee and Bill, a little duet, and Andrea. And Bill, Lee is going to grade this on a 1 to 10 scale and decide whether or not Bill gets the gong. Here we go. First of all, Lee, have you ever heard the song? It's called Andrea.
Andrea, woo, Andrea, woo, The sun rays did that, Tony.
Lee?
Back 60 years ago, back when you came into this world.
Lee, we're going to play it or break it. What are we doing with Bill here?
How did we get here, man? Like, what? How did this happen?
One more time, Bill. He used to hear it again. He's not judging. Go ahead, Bill. Hit it again. Andrea.
Oh, all right.
And work roast beef into it.
Andrea, woo, Andrea.
No, just do the tomahawk thing. Do the tomahawk thing instead. It's way better. Just don't.
Okay. Hey, oh, hey, oh, ho. Hey, oh, ho. Hey, oh, ho. Hey, oh, hey, oh, ho. Hey, oh, ho. Hey, oh, ho.
Bill, you're out of here. Lee, what's up?
Where's the hockey mask? Bill just rounded them all.
So great.
I don't know. I'm not sure how we got to that point, but yeah, you don't get that on KSR, man. Matt Jones.
Nah, you're not getting. Nah, the news, the weather, traffic, and the sports we're getting over here.
I don't even know why I called, man. At this point, I don't know what we're talking about.
Hey, what are we doing with the center, man? We took a center today that I've literally never heard of. What are they doing?
Oh, the Fermin kid?
Yes.
Man, my only guess is they're really trying to recreate what they did with Akbara.
Interesting.
Just like find a guy that they see like a bunch of, I guess, the athleticism that's kind of tall that they can turn into a defensive guy. That's my only guess.
I'll look forward to unpacking him because I couldn't get anybody last night. I was surprised they were involved with him. Some people were saying they weren't going to take him. That's not generally how they've conducted themselves. They bring somebody here. Generally, they're going to take him. They obviously worked him out. They obviously liked what they saw. It's obviously late in the game. It's a weird take by Tennessee. Weird.
Do you have him? I apologize. I don't know a whole lot about him. Is he a freshman last year?
Okay, yeah. So this will be his third year in college basketball. He's from the Poconos area in Pennsylvania. He played sparingly as a freshman. Averaged like 0.8 points per game, something like that. Last year, he played in 8 basketball games before bowing out. He had some personal issues going on. I can tell you this. It was not like drugs or alcohol or anything like that. I do believe, I haven't gotten this confirmed, but I've got to believe that his teammate vouched for him. But his list just looks so nondescript compared to the University of Tennessee. And I guess we'll see how it works out, man.
Yeah, maybe it's just a developmental piece. You know, maybe he's good enough you can get a few minutes out of him.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll trust those guys. I was looking at this is kind of like just kind of nerded out on a few things, looking at all these transfers. I'm kind of curious how this offense is going to run. Are they going to keep running a lot of the same type stuff that we're used to seeing with all the off the ball screening and stuff? But I was looking, obviously Lundblade, like off the ball, coming off screens is terrific. Like that's
yes,
like 81% of his buckets were like assisted off. Yeah, he fits the offense perfectly. I was looking at the other guys, extremely efficient, off the ball, coming off screens. He just didn't do it a whole lot. He was much more on the ball type guy, right?
Yes.
But he was actually really efficient when they did run him off screens, running the type of stuff that we run. Now, Harrelson had all of 2 shots last year where he came off of a screen, off the ball. They didn't do that at all at Notre Dame. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of use him. Notre Dame just kind of used him more as like, you know, sort of a mid-post, you know, booty ball type guy. But yeah, I thought that was interesting with Juke. I didn't think Juke's numbers were quite as efficient off the ball, but I thought that was interesting.
Hey, Matt, that's one of the things you were talking about before, right? Is the whole, because Lee's like I am. I'm totally in on this summer. In fact, I'm going to have a sponsored element here. We're going to doggedly follow this basketball team through the summer with our sources and share it with you on the website. We're going to do some breakout videos on it as we hear things. I'm extremely excited to see how they're going to take this roster and put it together, what kind of things they're trying to implement. Matt, you and I were talking off the air. You have a few thoughts on this, sort of like Lee does.
Yeah. Just you have kind of some ball dominant guys, and that's kind of the opposite of what Barnes's offense is designed to do with all the motion and constant passing. And so that will be interesting to see. We saw it a little bit this past year with Gillespie playing off the ball and letting Ament initiate things where they did do some different type stuff, the kind of positionless NBA stuff.
Yeah.
That NBA teams do, where you don't necessarily have to have a true point guard. And Tennessee will probably be in that. We'll probably have to do some of that.
What I think is really interesting, Lee, from just thinking about how this is going to work, I think it's really interesting that when you start talking about this particular team and who's going to play what minutes and who's going to man what role, Matt talked about the positionless stuff. Obviously, you have to ascribe positions for a lineup, and you have to say, okay, who's your starting 2? I'm poking around over there, and they tell me that Rick Barnes is in love with this Lundblade guy. I would have thought the Lundblade guy would be a 15-minute-a-night guy that would come in, shoot the basketball, get you hot, get you through, and if he stays hot, then he stays on the floor. And they said no. He's a starting 2 guard. I wonder when summer ball rolls around and they start working these guys out and they see him defensively, if he's good enough to man that kind of role, and some of the different ways they mask some of these, I don't want to say defensive liabilities, but not what we've generally seen from Barnes defensively. I think this whole thing's going to be really interesting, Lee.
Yeah, so Belmont defensively was actually the best they've ever been last year. Which, I mean, the bar was kind of low. Like they've never been a great defensive team. But they actually, that was the best defensive team they had ever had. So I'm not totally writing them off defensively, but I do think they're probably likely going to have to hide him to some degree. But if he's better than they think, then I'm with you. I think they're going to put him in the starting lineup. Like, I think they want him on the floor. I think they want that shooting on the floor. You know, Terrence Hill came off the bench at BCU. For me, that's what I would seem kind of hard to comprehend. I would have him starting, but maybe he's coming off the bench in that microwave type role. It's pretty interesting. I'm also curious to see what kind of tempo they're going to play with. Are they going to try to speed things up?
Yes.
Play a little bit faster, and the whole shot volume thing from last year when we were killing people with the offensive rebounding. If that's not the same this year, are we going to try to win that shot volume battle simply just by going faster and getting more shots up quicker, running more, and getting out in transition? Because obviously that's not something we've seen like ever here.
Right.
But
right. And playing the 90s. I mean, this team's capable of that. They really are.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, if you went and got all these guys
why wouldn't you do that?
Put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, why wouldn't you do that?
Let's run as many possessions as possible. Let's go fast.
I don't think they went and got all these guys to play conventional Barnes ball. I could be wrong. I don't think that's what they're doing, though.
It would seem counterproductive. Like, if you could play the same style, why would you go out and get all these guys? You know, and I also have a hard time believing all these guys would commit to this playing that, you know, that type of ball. But I guess you never know. Kind of see how. Yeah, it's totally fascinating. Like I said before, how this thing is going to work out. Hey, real quick before I run, I wanted to ask Matt something because he follows college baseball a lot more than me. So UCLA, I know coming into the season everyone said they were the best baseball team. Keep hearing they're the best baseball team. How much do they get tested in that league that they're in the Big Ten? Are there any other like good teams in the Big Ten? I'm just honestly curious when somebody doesn't pay that much attention to it on a night in, night out basis.
No, they don't get tested at all by Big Ten teams besides Oregon and USC. No, those are the only two. No, I mean Nebraska's pretty good this year. They're kind of having a season like Tennessee, but no, the week in, week out, they're not tested in that league. Besides the other West Coast teams.
Do you think that's an issue for them in the tournament? Or are they?
I think it can. I think it can be. Yeah, because they've not been tested. They have struggled the last couple of weeks. So they've been in some close games and they finally lost a game to Oregon. I think they're like 23-1 in the Big Ten or something absurd.
Oh, wow.
But so I do think that will hurt them in the postseason, that they've not been kind of battle tested and had a lot of high leverage games and at bats and innings. I do think that will probably catch up to them at some point.
Well, cool. Well, hey, I appreciate it. And hey, one last thing, man. I've had a bunch of people that I would have never gotten to know, like, except for like just connections through this show or whatever, that reached out to me about my dad the last few weeks. And I just want to say thank you to all those people. It does mean a lot to me and my family. So we can definitely use all the prayers like you don't even know. So I appreciate it, though.
What's the latest, Lee?
Yeah, we've had to readmit him to the hospital about 3 times. Every time he comes home, we got to send him back. So it's not great. It's not great right now, but we're staying positive and hoping for the best. So
God bless you, man.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lee. That's going to do it for us. On Fermin, people are pointing out, and you guys are right, that he's actually played 3 seasons before this one. He started 38 games in 23-24. He did play alongside Hill. I credit the News Sentinel for digging this up, and their new basketball guy, Winton Jackson, who's got a pretty good write-up on it over at Knoxville News Sentinel. He started 38 games in 23-24, averaged 4.5 points, 3 boards, 1.5 blocks, shot 54% from the floor, according to this report. He only played 4 games last season, which brings me to this. With the 5th year deal going into effect, just thinking off the top of my head, the thought might be from Tennessee that we'll bring this guy in as a 2-year deal. A 2-year, what would you call it? Like a way to look at that, Matt, like a project kind of thing. He is a former 3-star player, for what that's worth. It's 4 years later now. He was the number 5 overall player in the state of Pennsylvania. He does come from the Pocono Mountains area. Tennessee's now reworked their front line with 3 transfer portal guys to go with Dwayne Brown, who returns. But Miles Rubin, who probably is going to be your starting center. The Luke kid from Kennesaw State's another pretty good athlete. They like him. They like how angry he plays. But thank you to those of you that pointed that out. And Tennessee's also added Chris Washington, a 6'9" forward from the mid-state. And then Ralph Scott, who's more of a really skilled big man from Bermuda, who's going to be fun to watch as well. They've got a lot of interesting pieces, even out of their freshman class. I'm telling you, this is going to be, little Watson Brown for you. This is going to be a lot of fun to see them put this together. But Matt, any final thoughts? Call the shot on the way out here.
I think they win 1 out of 3 this weekend.
It's tonight.
I just don't think they can win game 3 with Mac not pitching, and I think they find a way to split these first 2, which is again plenty good enough. We would have taken 3-3 going into the last 2 series before Texas last week. So I think they at least get 1. Maybe they surprise us and get 2, but they'll definitely get 1.
It is ladies and gentlemen, 7:30 Eastern time start. Be there. We'll have Garzalaw extra innings on Saturday after the game. I guess that's a Saturday afternoon game or is it a Saturday night game? I got to check that out. That would help to let me look at that baseball schedule. That's something I need to know anyway. Let's see here. Anybody know?
Afternoon, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, but since they have it in a professional stadium, I wonder if they're
there's
trying
much
to drive
better
the
games
gate.
that have implications they can show on TV.
Oh, okay, let's see.
Berkey's not going to put that game on TV.
Yeah, Berkey does control this stuff. Let me see what time this game is on Saturday. We'll get that for you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's a 3:00 Eastern time start, so be your way here Saturday around 6-7. Around 6-7, something like that on Saturday night. Matt, when you say 6-7, do you do it? You try to stay hip? Do the 6-7 thing?
No, I do not. I try to avoid saying 6-7 at all costs.
Really?
Yeah.
6-7.
Saturday's game's at 3.
So yeah, so we'll be on the air around, I don't know, 6 or 7. 6-7. Appreciate you. Thanks, Matt. TGMD in the house. He'll have a write-up on tonight's game tomorrow in the blog. We'll have Orange Throat breaking it down scientifically. I'm sure he'll respond to some of the stuff we've had this week. Check out the blog today over at tclub.team and help us continue to grow. And shout out to Titans Bill for singing Andrea to us. I could not remember, but Titans Bill's an artist. He was vibing with me there. He knew what I was going for. Where else do you get this kind of stuff? Where else do you get this? And what are you going to do when it goes away? What are you going to do like in a year or so when I just say that's enough? I've had enough. What are you going to do? Inquiring minds want to know. Love you. Appreciate you. Peace. All right, let's run today's show back. I threw a little nugget out there about my pending retirement. Seems to be all the rage these days, retiring. So, let's see here.
But if I had to guess, I would say no, that we won't see him. But you probably, I do think if you get one of the first 2, that gives you the luxury of not being able to have to throw him at all, which is probably the plan, unless they just have to. Because as we saw Sunday, if Landon Mack isn't starting one of your games, you're going to be, you need 15 runs to win.
I want both of them. Dr. Z DDS, Tony, I can't believe you wasted so much airtime yesterday. Hey, Dr. Z DDS, you need to go read my blog today. He says the following: I can't believe you wasted so much airtime yesterday in an NIL tweet. The author tweeted, admitted it was subjective figure based on overall marketability. Actually, his figure was right. And actually, Tennessee is one of the big spenders in college football this year. So I don't know what to say.